me do it. So now, hey.
Mommy, I want
So now this is better. Now I can probably turn my damn camera on. Oh my God.
Quiet.
Why is it not letting me? Please select another video. It's not letting me.
No.
This shit is crazy, yo. YouTube Studio.
And it won't allow you to try to change your camera.
I'm trying to get my shit out of here. I don't like this. My camera is somewhere in La La Land. All right, that one is live. I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna delete this shit. That's what I gotta do. Delete. I'm deleting this shit. Delete. All right, now I should be able to um I should now be able to cut my camera on. All right, I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
You're gonna let me in. I'm letting you be the co-host.
Okay.
This shit is still not letting me. All right, let's try it now. There. Oh my God. Can you see me now?
You did it. You did it. Yay.
All right. All right, y'all. Hey now. It's gonna come back up now, y'all. I apologize. I don't know what the hell was going on. That's crazy. That's wild. I don't know what happened. Now I gotta stream this to freaking YouTube. I think I'm doing it right now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Maybe this will work. Now I gotta stream it to Twitter. I'm gonna have to stream it to Twitter. And this should work. Sorry, y'all. I don't know. Oh, I think I'm doing it right now. And I don't like the way this looks either. Oh my God, I hate this. How does anybody like this? How? I got this on. I think it's right now. Can y'all see me? Toya, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you and see you in both.
I don't understand why it looks like that on on YouTube. You can't see me.
I can see you on both and Zoom and YouTube.
Well, why is it showing? Oh, now it's showing me. They can see me.
Hmm.
I did. I did. Oh, so y'all can see me okay, right? Toya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear and see you.
All right, and you can see me in YouTube. So now we just waiting for Judge Joe Brown to pop up.
Yep, I can see you.
This way is so much easier because that same link he could come in on the same link. Sorry, y'all, I gotta learn how to use this stuff. I don't know. I'm not all that great. So now we gotta just wait for old JoJo. He said he was walking his dog. Oh, wait a minute, I got a text. Okay. Um, hold up. You don't have a chat on your live. Yes, I do. Hey, hey, I can see people. Oh, you got the old chat. Go to my live. All right. I think we are right now. So I'm just waiting for Judge Joe to come on up here. All he got to do is click the link. All right. Hey, Irma. Good. They see the chat. I see chat. Okay. I see it too. So I got it muted over there. And then I had to restart it again. But it's the same Zoom link though, right, Toy?
It appears so. The one you sent me in it.
Yeah, that's the same one. So he'll be all right. We just waiting for him to pop on up in here.
All right, so I can leave the Zoom now, right? You want me to leave the panel?
Yeah, you can. You can go back in the chat, baby. I just wanted thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know what I do without you, girl.
Okay, I'll see you in the chat.
Okay, babe. Now I'm up here by myself. So I'm waiting for Judge Joe Brown to show up. He should be up shortly. I'ma call him and see what's going on because he's 15 minutes late. He's 15 minutes late. So let me call him and see what's going on, y'all. Give me a minute. I can't use my music because this is Zoom. So let me call Judge and see what he doing. So he's on his way in. We'll give him a few minutes. He's having a little technical, but he'll be in. He said the connectivity out there is just horrible. So we're giving him a few minutes. So yeah. Hey, Lady Boo, I'm so used to having my music. I gotta figure all this out. I probably get a geek squad person here in here to help me. But yeah, he should be in shortly. He should be in shortly. He should be in shortly. Hey, y'all, please smash the like button. What's going on? Smash the like. He should be in shortly. Just waiting. Give him a minute. Oh, smoke. just just waiting on the judge. He's on his way in. Hey, Air Power. Hey, smash that like, y'all. Do you put Judge Joe up in here and it just flies up. Salute, y'all. Waiting on the judge. He'll be here. I just talked to him. He's having connectivities. So we giving him a minute. Da-da-da-da. Just waiting on the judge, y'all. Maybe y'all could get some tea, hot tea or something. Hey, Meta, I see you trying to connect. Hey, Meta, can you hear me? You got to unmute your mic. Can you hear me, Meta? Testing, testing. Well, you got in okay. So, Judge,
You hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
All
I'm
right.
waiting on Judge Joe Brown. We waiting on him. He's having connectivities. All he had to do was hit the link like you. You just hit the link and you came right in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be the same for him. He don't got to sign in and all that other gooky stuff that they require. Hey, so we getting into it today. We gonna get it in. And yes, I'm gonna ask him about cloning and all that. And what is cyborg? He gonna give me his story, his interpretation of it. So I want to hear it. He said he know about prokaryotics and eukaryote, he know about all that. So I want to hear him, but I'm definitely going in on Kamala because they need to know. America needs to know because they always get it twisted. And it is what it is. I'm sorry. The chat saying hi to you. I don't know if you can see him
And I can't see nothing.
because you got to open up YouTube. You got to open up YouTube.
I gotta
On
go
your,
in. I go into YouTube.
you got to go and pull up my YouTube and then mute it. And then mute the YouTube and you'll see the chat. See, I got two screens. You should have 20 screens. If you open it up, YouTube on your other screen, right?
Oh, okay.
And you see my live.
Yeah, I see the chat. Okay, so now I see the chat.
Yep.
I put it on mute. You say put the YouTube video on mute, right?
Right. That goes on mute so you won't be echoing. So
Okay.
now you can see the chat room.
Yeah, I see the chat room. Okay, so on StreamYard, Zoom don't show the actual
Right. It will only show the chat in Zoom.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody in the chat? Yeah, I can see you guys now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Shout
So
out
I
to
see.
everybody in there.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building. Copper Aboriginal, Copper Tone, Mr. Warren, Yellow Hammer. No, Yellow. Yeah, Yellow Hammer's. Sweet. Miss Lady Moon, as usual. What's going on? None of your business. Smoke signal in the building. Bad Saint. Elise Jones.
Yes. Why not?
Elise Jones.
Hey.
And we have I already said Mr. Warren, and we got
No,
Smoke
I'm looking
Signal.
at this thing because I did stream back to Twitter again and they got it. So it's 3,490 people here. Judge Joe Brown, where are you? I just got off the phone with him saying his connection is horrible wherever he is. So boom, boom, boom. Hey Lou, Steve Smothers, D. Allen Warren, Capitone, Enox, Yellowhammer Sawaki, David, Steve
Enoch.
Smothers.
Yeah, what's
Let me
going
see
on,
who else we
Enoch?
got. Ridgematic. Um, who else we got up in here? Copper Aborigine, Bad Saint, hey girl, EJ. All right, now everybody came in. Hey, Lady Moon, Smoke, none of your business. I gotta shout them out too. Leonard Robinson, old dude. Let's see. We got everybody up in here. T Cortez. Okay, there we go. There he goes. All right. I think we got him. I'm gonna fix his name. I'm gonna fix it. Let me see. You gotta just unmute your mic, Judge. He knows how to work Zoom. Hey, there he is. Howdy. Oh, his mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted, Judge. Now that's the camera. There we go. Now you got to cut your camera back on. Yep, there you go. Can you hear
Okay,
us, Judge?
I
You look great. I like your brown leather. What's going on?
floated along trying to create problems for some people that need problems created for them.
Oh, okay. So, hey, y'all, throw up some fire for Judge Joe Brown, y'all. He finally got in. Throw up some fire for Judge Joe Brown. Hey, Judge, I got metamaterial on with me.
They'll
How you
block.
doing?
They'll
How you
block
doing,
you.
Mr. Judge Brown?
If the wrong people get in office, this is what we're all going to look forward to. They block me. I've got stuff right on my screen saying that there's an unauthorized device in on this whole thing, and it's trying to block stuff. So I do what I do and who I support to keep that kind of thing from happening. So be aware of it. Big brother, I guess he transed out and he's big sister now, or it's big sister now. So be careful. You're being listened to. And if you say things that are disturbing, you get
Yes.
blocked. You have difficulties. So anyway, let's get on to what we're going to do. I can't see
Okay.
you, by the way.
You
Now,
can't see me?
no, now I can, but you just got knocked out. I just did something to try and get around this hack, this interference from tranny big sister, So it is what it is. Anyway, hi, let's go.
Okay, so the problem is I'm tired of society, period. Kamala is not black. I'm going to use modern day words. I agree. She's not black. All right. I done did her genealogy after Candace did it. And she's not black. She is not. Show me where her ancestors, okay, went through Jim Crow laws. She's nowhere. She's not a Jim Crow queen like us. We went through Jim Crow laws. Where was her family? India and us are not the same. I'm sorry. She has been Indian from India until she began running for office. I've never seen her identify as a black woman. Let's get society straight. A black woman from the Americas, okay, North America, Oprah Winfrey, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Michelle Obama, these are black women. Kamala Harris is not a North American mainland black woman. I'm sorry. I don't know if
Ain't
you
black
agree
at
with me
all.
or do you disagree with me?
She ain't black at all. She's not black at all. Let me put this, let's fast forward. When you want to catch a duck so you can cook him up and put him on your dinner table, what do you do if you have to go catch your own duck? You got a duck called quack quack, and you bring them in because they hear what it sounds like, their own language to them. We got a Negro fakes out accents. When you want to get them closer in, what do? You got a decoy. What's a decoy? It's a fake duck. We got a fake Negro and who's babbling Negro calls, and the stupid Negroes say, "Oh wow, here's one of us, so we gotta go vote." See how you catch an animal and do him so you can put him on your dinner table is you get something that looks like him, sounds like him, and you can catch him or her. So that's what we're doing. See, India is the second largest country in the world behind China. In the United States, as a group, they exceed white people. They make more money per capita than any other group in the United States. She's even abandoned her group to go deal with what she's doing as a fake. So let's get over that. It's like there's nothing there except hopeless Negroes who are so anxious to be able to identify with something that they'll identify with anything. That's like 30 years ago, all the black folk running around trying to get Oakland Raiders starter jackets didn't even know what part of the country Oakland was in, didn't know that the Raiders were a football team, couldn't identify the quarterback, any of the starting lineup. They just wanted to belong. You got a lot of stupid Negroes that are out there trying to belong, so they ID with Kamala, which, by the way, is the name of a Hindu goddess. It ain't black. So when somebody says, you mispronouncing her name, fool, that's how the Hindu pronounce the name, and it's a Hindu goddess. They know better than you do because it ain't got nothing to do with Negro. And it has nothing to do with black. Just get back, step on the side. You still haven't come. You had Obama boy who has more connection with America through his white mammy, and you have a situation where we still don't have a single black American who's got this legacy you're talking about that has come anywhere near being at the top of the charts. So what do we have? Zero. And we're running around trying to manufacture zero and getting done worse. It's a pathetic thing.
Well, they fooled us once with Obama because a lot of us thought that he was really one of us, and he's really not.
How? How
Genetically,
can
he's
any
not.
sane inhuman make this fool one of us? What connection?
The
He didn't
brown,
grow up
the
here.
brown skin. I believe he's
That's
our
so what? I mean,
complexion.
don't they get the point that you can go spray paint somebody with this stuff? If it's an actress, you can put on Max C45 and make them color up and they look like it, and it ain't got a damn thing to do with anything. What's going on? Are we that? Yo, yeah, we are that stupid.
Well, the problem is, and I say this all the time, Obama and us, Kamala and us, do not share the same genetic background, genealogy wise, anyway. Obama's father is Kenyan. My father's not Kenyan. What's wrong with America knowing the difference between a Negro, which Obama removed himself from being removed Negro, okay? Because now you really don't know who the real Black American, okay? I'll use modern day words, American Indian, or however we're going to use it, American Indian, Aboriginal to the Americas in the 50 states. He removed Negro. So now all of us are Black? I don't think so. There's a difference.
I don't want to interrupt you because I like where you're going, but see, we got so caught up in the trick bag of saying one drop makes you Black, Negro, colored. We forgot something else. There's another side of this genetic coin, which is what are you when you add up your genetics? Now, there's a person that you need to deal with. Look it up. The name is Samuel Hinckley. Hinkley, Hinckley, Hinkley, Samuel, late of Cape Cod. Now, Samuel Hinckley has some interesting descendants. 7 of them became U.S. presidents. 1 became a U.S. 10 of them became governors of American states. Let's talk about the ones that were alive, still alive, less 1. Barack Obama, aka Barry Soetoro, Sarah Palin, governor of Alaska,
Alaska.
Dick Cheney, vice president of the United States and CEO of Halliburton, George W. Bush, president of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush, president of the United States. George Herbert Walker founded Halliburton in 1946 in Oklahoma. Barack Obama, all of them are related. Barack Obama's maternal grandfather was first cousin to George Herbert Walker Bush. They were both nephews of George Herbert Walker, who founded Halliburton. George Walker Bush is the great nephew of George Herbert Walker, who founded Halliburton. Dick Cheney is the youngest nephew of George Herbert Walker, and Uncle Herbie made him CEO for Halliburton, the company he founded. Sarah Palin is the great niece of George Herbert Walker, and she was governor of Alaska. And when Barack Obama was running against who? McCain.
Herman McCain, yeah.
McCain's vice president was Barack Obama's cousin. And by the way, the question needs to be asked, who's the richest president to ever sit in the White House? It's not Donald Trump, it's Barack Obama. His stepfather, who adopted him before he was 2 years old after marrying his Miami, Lolo Soetoro, was international executive vice president for Standard Oil. He also ran the hit squads, the death squads for Indonesia when they had a little problem, 59, 60, 61, with an attempted revolution. The Hague wanted him for killing 500,000 Indonesians, but the U.S. blocked service of the warrant. That became Obama's stepfather, who adopted him. And when that man died, he was one of the richest people on the planet Earth. So he left everything in a trust fund in Indonesia that the U.S. government can't trust. An equal 1/3 beneficiary is Barry Soetoro / Barack Obama. and he's the richest somebody ever to sit in the White House. Business Insider for 2017 reported his net income after his first draw from his trust fund after taxes were paid was $570 million for that year.
Wow.
And that's not his gross income, that's after taxes and all expenses, and that was just his first draw. His trust fund is a major investor in British Petroleum, a major investor in Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Humana, all these kind of things. Also, let's see what else. Halliburton, which is the family enterprise anyway, on the other side of the family. Okay, Goldman Sachs. He has Obama's trust fund is one of its major customers, and the law firm that he and Michelle worked for, where Michelle was his supervisor, was the law firm that handled the American business for Lolo Soetoro's enterprises. That law firm is the oldest Republican law firm in America, and as a matter of fact, managed the finances for Abraham Lincoln during his first run for president. Now, you talk about Project 25, everybody is accusing Trump of being behind. It's a 992-page document filed by the Heritage Foundation. Well, let's look at the reality. The Heritage Foundation backed Barack Obama for president because they said he had the most conservative, third most conservative voting agenda in the United States Senate for the 2 scant years he was there. He got elected to U.S. Senator after his opponent died during the course of the campaign. When he became representative on the state level in Illinois, his opposition died during the campaign, and he was known as what? The Drone Ranger for all of the people he got assassinated by drone, including violating an American federal court order, an injunction ordering him not to murder an American citizen who was the son of an American citizen, let alone murdering the American citizen's son, who was also an American citizen, all 3 of them born in Detroit. And Obama said he had the right to do so because he didn't agree with their policies. And being a commander in chief, he said that was anti-American interest, even though the man, his son, his grandson, had done nothing that violated American law, but he murdered him, even though he was enjoined from doing so by a federal court. He murdered the man by drone. 4 hours later, he murdered his grandson, murdered the man's son, this particular target's son, and
This is all facts.
Yeah, these people were born in Detroit, so they were Native American citizens.
Whoa.
He said, and he took the posture, and I have a copy of the transcript that I ordered some years ago. The Obama administration said on the authority of the United States, he's not bound by American law. He can't order somebody killed in the United States of America if he disagrees with what the person is doing. Now, let me point out something that is real scary. Passed, signed in as an order, a Department of Defense directive, September 27th, that's last month, is a Department of Defense directive. The identification is 5240.01. It allows the Department of Defense to use deadly force to kill, subdue, or cause to conform any American, et cetera, who, amongst other things, disagrees with COVID-19 policy, et cetera, or who challenges the outcome of any election. So it does not have to move up to an assistant secretary of defense or the secretary of defense until after the first 72 hours. So somebody as low down as a colonel in rank can order an American citizen to be assassinated if that person speaks out against an election outcome. That was signed into law September 27th, which is last month. And that's now the law with this upcoming election. That is
What?
Department of Defense Directive 5240.01. 5240.01. Look it up. And these clowns are now authorizing themselves to use deadly force to murder American citizens who disagree with the outcome of the election coming up.
And this is and this is what a military
Department of Defense
5240.01.
Department of Defense Directive, capital D, small letter O, capital D, Directive 5240.01.
All right,
Now,
this is saying this
and it
is
modifies another one, 5210-10.
whoa, 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 whoa.
So just look at 5240.01 and see what it says.
Okay, hang on. I got it up right here. Wow, unbelievable. 52 DOD directive. This is September 27th, 2024.
Yeah, that's last month.
DOD directive. Let me make it a little bigger with my little thing here. 5240.01. DOD intelligence and DOD intelligence and intelligence related activities and defense intelligence component assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. Originating component, office under the Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, effective September 27th, 2024. And it says the purpose. I'm just going to go down. Let me see. Releasability, incorporates and cancels. Procedures governing the activities of DOD intelligence components and components that affect United States persons. 9/7/1982 as amended. Approved by Kathleen Hicks, Deputy Secretary of Defense. This issuance implements Executive Orders 12333 and 1338 and Title 50 United States Code, establishes policy and provides direction for DOD intelligence and intelligence-related activities, assigns responsibilities, and provides guidelines for defense intelligence component intelligence assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. And here's the table.
That's the table of contents. When you get into it, basically it says that if there is any unrest or advocacy for unrest relative to an election outcome, the Department of Defense is authorized for the first 72 hours without checking with any higher ups to use deadly force to contain or eliminate those persons who may be advocating for some sort of non-acceptance of purported election results. It's really crazy.
Let me see, election.
And look at COVID-19 as well.
Wait a minute, election. It should have in here.
Yeah, but it's in there.
I'm not finding election on here.
It's not going to say it that way. It's just terms of activities that are, what shall we say, detrimental to the interest of the country. It authorizes the Department of Defense to contain and eliminate such persons or problems. So it is really kind of scary. Download it and take a look at it. You might bring it up on another show.
Okay, yeah, I'll download it because I want to read it first. I don't look through it. That's crazy if that's so, if that's the case. Well, back to what we're saying. I believe, and I believe this is done intentional. They have it's like the United States government and Congress has no intention on giving a real, I'll use it, Negro of America an opportunity to be president.
No,
was
we
in the
still
50
haven't had
states.
anybody up there who is a staunch down brother or sister who is advocating for us in any way, form, shape, or fashion in line to exercise real power. It's all appearance. What they're trying to do is get rid of something, and that get rid of something is duty, honor, obligation, responsibility, accountability, making where you live a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, sense of purpose, morality, ethics, being dedicated to making your community a place of public peace, dignity, order, being brave and courageous when necessary, or people of peace otherwise. They're trying to get rid of that. What they want to do is anything goes, no guilt, no shame. Remember, oh my God, they're shaming. We have to get rid. That was fat shaming. That was age shaming. That was, oh, it's so horrible. All of these things have to go. And they get a Lizzo out there with a 300-pound self, butt naked, and she's looking like a damn troll of a hippo. But that's supposed to influence our good young girls to go eat a half loaf of white bread at a time so they can get fat and look like that and bounce around looking like harlots. But that's okay.
What about Sexy Red?
Oh,
With her
hell no.
pose. Oh,
Oh,
she's
hell
got this
no.
pose on Twitter where she's saying, because first of all, they have it all twisted up about Trump with the abortion. First of all, it's directed, the power of the abortion is directed to all the states. It's not the
Yeah,
the
nobody's
feds didn't
federal
make a
government.
case.
No.
So now they have this picture of her and they're trying to portray that he's going to do something about the abortion when they already delegated to the 50 states. They have their own decisions as to whether they want to keep the abortion laws in their states. That's what it was left up
Have
to,
you
Fifth
read,
Amendment.
have you been keeping up with this good sister Angela Stanton King, who has been talking about what Kamala's particular position is with the abortion issue and to why she adopted two teenage Jewish children after marrying a white Jewish person who was in the Hollywood, who represented communications industry folk and entertainment folk, and they backed off of reporting on Kamala because his clients didn't, say, okay, we don't want to displease our lawyer. If you looked at why she joined up Hillcrest Country Club that has got 80, 90-year bad negative history with black folk in Los Angeles, if you look that up, I mean, nobody wants to get into it. She was getting some from Willie and Montel and a frat house when she was at Howard, where she snuck in trying to masquerade as black to get some financial aid. And then she got in under an affirmative action program to go to law school. She didn't do that well there. And she kind of casting couched her way at the top. But the thing with casting couch, it's not that it won't get somebody quickly to the top, but once you get to the top, you have a problem. You have the star role in the production, and if you can't act, the whole thing flops. So it's like you get there, but who's over you now? Who's going to be taking care of the task that you casting couched your way to the top to be able to run? Now, we've been dealing with George Soros for the last several years, financing all of these blue prosecutors that have let law and order go to hell in the inner cities and in the big cities of America, right?
Mm-hmm.
She got paid for, bought, and promoted by George Soros. So now he's happy. He's the pimp behind the whole game, who has somebody out there that he's trying to put in as president of the United States that he owns. Now, how is that? One West Bank was owned by George Soros. It was fraudulently foreclosing on a lot of people with this mortgage scandal stuff that was going on.
Subprime mortgage.
Remember when it was?
Yeah.
Okay, I had 3 neighbors that lost their properties because of that. And it wound up that One West Bank, Mnuchin, we remember from the Obama administration and 1 year in the Trump administration before he got fired. We remember Mnuchin, we remember One West Bank, and we remember something else. Kamala Harris was district attorney in San Francisco. Mnuchin and Soros financed her to the tune of $14 million to get her elected as attorney general for the state of California. When she got in office, there were more than 5,200 counts of indictments in just about every county in California, charging Mnuchin and One West Bank with various and sundry felonies. Kamala Harris consolidated them and dismissed them. 3 weeks later, George Soros sold One West Bank for $3.62 billion. And then Soros and Mnuchin financed Kamala to run for U.S. Senator, which was interesting. It's the only time in history that California has had a senatorial contest where there was no Republican candidate. So she ran without opposition and got elected U.S. Senator thanks to Soros and Mnuchin and them raising a lot of money for her. So he owned her as a prosecutor, and that helped him out so he could not only not get his company found guilty of felonies, not only would his CEO Mnuchin not got found guilty of felonies, the charges were dismissed, and he sold the company for $3.62 billion. Now, he owns that heifer, and she is going to be his president of the United States. So he owns all of these big city prosecutors who are letting law and order go to hell, so nobody can go to a grocery store or a gas station, go visit anybody, visit their kinfolk without some fool going around trying to hold them up, rape them, kidnap them, hijack their cars, or shoplift a company so badly they have to close down, which leaves us with food market deserts because all of these places have closed thanks to these idiots who are running the prosecutorial offices and letting everybody off. And you can see that with this harlot who, while she was vice president of the United States, she was going around raising money to bail these fools out who were burning down the cities behind George Floyd and BLM. Instead of, wasn't she a prosecutor locking folk up? Didn't she have a interesting stat that was on her shoulders of giving out the stiffest sentences in the United States for simple possession of marijuana to black men, young black men, to giving out the stiffest sentences in America for a given crime to young black men, to having almost 2,000 of them that were due for release, but she was blocking their release from prison to keep them giving their free labor to fight forest fires, to having a young man that collected $13.1 million from San Francisco because she knew he was innocent, but she kept him in jail for political purposes for almost 8 years until the state Supreme Court ordered her to release the exculpating evidence. This is who we have in there. Now, she locked all of these black folk up for simple possession of marijuana. Now, she talked to Roly Poly Martin, the Pillsbury Doughboy with chocolate chips, and 24 hours later, she comes up with a black economic plan, a 5-point one, and point number 5 is to allow black men to build up legacy, generational wealth by smoking dope and selling weed. That is so patronizingly insulting.
Are you serious?
Serious. Read that damn thing. It's a 5-point program, and number 5 is to encourage young black males to sell weed. That's
Oh
a
my
solution
goodness.
to the economic problems of the Black community.
Okay, so I did some research on the men that she was jailing out there in the West Coast. And I found it to be interesting. Did she have a falling out with Montel? Because
Somebody pointed
I
out
I
something to me.
I saw the photos of the men that she arrested, and it seemed that she had a problem with black. Did she? I'm asking. Did she have a problem with black men with bald heads?
Yeah, you pointed it out to me. I hadn't even
I
thought about it until I
I'm like,
looked at
what?
it.
Everybody looks like Montel that's going to
Montel,
jail.
Willie, and
I'm
they
like,
all got jacked around. She
and why
must
do
have
they all
some
have
kind of
bald
problem.
heads?
We
And
talked
I'm like,
about it off the air. Yeah, you're right. And why does she single out these folk that remind her of something in her deep, dark past? She's one of these dot women. What's the
oh
dot
my
woman?
goodness.
That
Well,
dot in the middle of the forehead?
I think people from that culture
That's
wear
their
a
culture.
dot.
That's okay. But you know,
If you're a single woman or a married woman, I don't know. I never studied that culture, but I just found it to be very interesting that all these bald-headed black men were jailed for very small crimes. I'm like, did she hate him so much that now all bald-head people, bald-head black men are going to prison? I'm just asking this. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I mean, come on. Why are all these bald-headed black men? I mean, that could have been you,
and look
Judge
at
Joe
me.
Brown.
I'm
That could have
likely
been
to be
you.
in jail next year if this heifer wins the election because she's
Is
a
she one of
fascist.
I'm sure you're not one of her favorites if that's a true case, if that's true. If it's
Yeah,
true,
well, she's a
you probably
fascist.
wouldn't be one of
She's a
hers.
Nazi. She's a Nazi. They accuse Trump of being the Nazi, but the interesting thing about the real Nazis is they even published the way to deal with your program is to accuse your opponent of doing what you are doing.
Wow. Well, you know
So,
what?
okay, strength through joy. 80, no, 90 years ago in 1934, the Nazis set up a program, Strength Through Joy, that reads just like Kamala's. 90 years ago in 1934, they had a thing where they had shootings in the marketplace of Stuttgart, Pomerania, etc., etc. And what they did is they snatched everybody's right to have a gun except if you were in the Nazi party. 1934, they had a commission to deal with misinformation. And she and Tim Walz have been talking about the First Amendment needs to be changed. It needs to be modified or amended or repealed because misinformation is dangerous to a democracy. And America is not a democracy, it's a representative republic because a real flat out democracy is a mob. So we have a representative republic and they want to get rid of it by repealing the First Amendment. And this is not somebody that's not supposed to know. This is a former career prosecutor. All right, we want to get rid of the Second Amendment. She's still talking about
Oh,
a
no way.
mandatory
That'll
buyback.
never happen.
No, but she's talking about a mandatory buyback. So she grew up in Canada. That's what Canadians do because Canadians are not citizens, they're subjects. They belong to the crown. So in Canada, they've had this buyback program. She wants to put that in mandatory, and she's still talking it. So the streets out there, because she's got a bunch of her colleagues who don't do crap about enforcing the law, we can't go anywhere. So they've got thugs that get all the guns they want because the cartels are importing crates of guns along with the kilos of dope, and she failed at being the borders are, and the borders are wide open. Meanwhile, let's talk about that. We are here in America. We live in the cities, and these
Mhm.
cities are getting implanted with military-grade explosives by 1.5 million military-age Chinese males who have already had their military training. They're walking across the border with huge backpacks that nobody is checking. They're getting transportation thanks to the U.S. government to all of the centers where you have power distribution, energy sources, where you have communication sources, manufacturing sources, residential and commercial sources or centers, and they've already planted their explosives, and all they have to do is set them off. In 2027, the Chinese have said we will invade Taiwan and we're going to take it back. So what is supposed to happen when we have a set to with the Chinese? We had 911. A lot of black folk, white folk, brown folk, red folk got done in New York on 911 when those Twin Towers came down. We had Homeland Security, but you don't need it now because nobody has to hijack an airplane. They've already brought the military-grade explosives over the border and nobody's checked them. We've got, 13,000 people who have been convicted of murder that are known to have entered the United States, and we don't know where they are. We've got 15,000 who have been convicted of rape, and we've got 20-some thousand who've been convicted of felony drug offenses, and we don't know where they are, but we let them in. They have been shooed out of the prisons in South America, Central America, and they're up here, and their crime rates have dropped down 40, 50% since they've been gone. But now they're here. We don't know where they are. They're saying it's a lie, but people are saying, here's the video. Look what's happening in my home place where these criminals are taking it over. We don't know what kind of diseases they have. HIV is becoming endemic again. We don't know what they've got. And we just let them in with no vetting. We've got people that have been standing in line to be citizens by legitimate pathways. They've been in line for 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, and we're letting people cut the line. Meanwhile, what's going on, see, is if you have refugee status, you automatically become a citizen in 5 years. You don't have to go through the classes. You don't have to pass any test, nothing. You become a citizen. Well, since the president is the chief diplomat for the United States, he can retroactively declare that, let's say, anybody after January 1st, 2021 is to be considered a refugee and granted asylum status. That means that 2027, they become citizens automatically and they can vote. All right, let's talk about, they don't have to do anything, take no classes, as long as they're still here, if they're granted asylum, which can be done on the stroke of a pen under executive order. They can vote. They're full-fledged citizens, 2027. I'll get back to the significance of that date. Also, the president has absolute and unquestioned authority to pardon even prior to someone being formally charged. He can pardon all of these folk of the felony of crashing the border. He can pardon all of these folk who are guilty of the felony of harboring, giving aid and comfort to a federal fugitive, which includes, by definition, a federal fugitive from a transgression of the border. You crash the border, you are a federal fugitive. So she can pardon all these people. Now, what happens in 27? That's the first midterm where the person can come in and you determine who occupies the House and the Senate. That's in the middle of the next president's term, and those people would be eligible to vote without anything further to do in 2027. So where are they being sent? To all of the battleground states where it's crucial to capture. So they're sending these people to go live in places where they really want them to vote Democratic in 2027. They will completely change the posture and the situation with American politics. So they're trying to compromise the security of the United States for the selfish purpose of getting these people in so they can take absolute control. And an absolute control includes what? Repeal of the First Amendment, repeal or crushing the Second Amendment. She's already been on multiple times saying on the Fourth Amendment, which has to do with searches and probable cause for a search, she's saying we're going to say forget probable cause. We're going to search you even if it's not probable cause to see what you're doing in your home. Okay, you're setting up a Nazi government. And this is ridiculous. Due process of law, Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment applies it to states. So we're seeing what they're doing to Donald Trump, which is what they used to do 50 years ago to black men. The devil with the law, let's go after them because we think they're a threat. So they've been going after Donald Trump. So who do you think is most likely to deal with reform of criminal justice? Somebody that has been abused by it like Trump, or somebody that is one of the main instigators in the wrong, a career prosecutor? And I'll say this, some prosecutors are okay, but very few of them, because most career prosecutors are some of the most corrupt humans you will ever encounter in your entire life. They are jaded. They have no principles, no morals, no ethics. They just want to win. They aren't making much money, and they hate everybody because they think they've wasted their entire professional careers. They haven't had the $1 million settlement or verdict. They haven't had the significant verdict of acquitting, getting somebody acquitted that made the newspaper. They hate what they do. They hate people. They don't give a damn. And they'll cut every corner they can. And that's what we've got running for U.S. president, who has demonstrated her willingness to do this over and over again in California. Then she's been what? Over the program with $42 billion to bring the net to rural America. We've got a lot of black folks still living out there in the country in the South. They still don't have net access because in 3.5 years, she's done nothing with the $42 billion that was allocated to bring the net to the people that lived in rural America. We don't know where the $42 billion went. Next thing, she was in charge of what? Being the borders are, but she left it wide open.
Let's
and
not
all of
even
these
go
people
there.
have been flooding across it,
Yes.
flooding across it.
Yes.
So what the devil is she supposed to do? And then most tellingly, look at what she did when she was delegated the authority to be the chief U.S. diplomat to Europe. They call her Miss Word Salad Annie because she can't talk. We must overcome today from what has happened yesterday, and yesterday will be tomorrow. That's why tomorrow is day before yesterday, which is today. What the hell did you just say?
That makes no sense. I did not understand what she was talking about when she said that.
She didn't either. And you
I
know what it
even
is?
wrote it out, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
And you know what it is? It's a symptom of early onset dementia. This woman is not 40 years old like she looks on camera. She's 60. And early onset dementia hits from 55 to about 65. And Biden at least was 80. She ain't but 60, and she's suffering from it. Now, the other thing, too, that's a symptom. You get this thing where she can't maintain a thought and bring it together. Now, we talked, and I told you that for several years, for Biden and Kamala, I said, watch out for the decryption boxes that look like a mic pack, because what's going on is they got little miniature hearing aids in their ear, and somebody is telling them what to say. The messages are encrypted, but they got an extra what looks like a mic pack on their person, and you can see it when you watch Kamala. And it allows them to hear. Now on X, they've been exposing her when the damn thing broke down, and she's going, "Wait a minute, hold on, I'll do it." So say that again. And she wears these pearl earrings that are nothing but a camouflage for this. They're $695. You can buy the damn things on Amazon.
Oh my goodness.
And she's wearing them. And somebody's telling her what to say because the heifer can't focus.
Wow.
Now, I call her that because she's wrong. She has, what she's about. She's been getting up there. You know what the Kama Sutra is?
No.
The Kama Sutra is a book. It's a Hindu book about sex. And the interesting thing is it's illustrated. It's 500 years old, but it's got illustrations of the technique, pictures. So she's been getting to the top. She's been saying, "Baby, if you're nice to mama, we'll do what's on page 17 in the middle. And then we'll go to page 39 at the top, and we'll finish up with 64 at the bottom. If you're nice to mama."
Judge.
So
I cannot. I'm sorry, but I cannot trust her to handle the war that's going on in Ukraine. I can't trust her to handle this. I'm just sorry. I don't think she's the fit to communicate any foreign. I'm sorry. I
can
just
you see
don't
her talking
feel
to Putin?
comfortable.
Can you see
Exactly
her
my
talking
point.
to Putin?
I don't feel comfortable with her representing us when it has to do anything with foreign government, period.
Wait a minute.
I
Can
don't
you
think
see
she
her
has it.
dealing with Putin?
No, I can't, and I don't
In
want
other
to.
words, Harlot, bag off. I've got a lot prettier than you waiting in the West Wing of the Kremlin. Come here, baby. Show her what I got. Yeah, now see what I got?
Don't.
Business Insider said Putin's worth $120 billion himself, not 120 million.
You can't. No, we're not
Wait
going
a
to go.
Wait a minute. Can you see her dealing with Xi Jinping? No, I don't want any.
No, and I don't want to see that. I don't even want that
you're
picture in my head.
I have young, tender Chinese ladies on the other side. Oh, come here, baby. Show what daddy's got here. No, I ain't interested. And then you can see her dealing with 40-year or 42-year-old, what's her name? Rocket Man in North Korea. And can you see the Arabs over there in the
what is his
Middle East?
name? Mun Young Chung or something like that.
Kim
Don't do it.
Jong-un.
No.
Can you see him? No, I got
please.
10 young ones over here. I don't need
Listen,
you.
we got to get Trump in office. I can't.
Wait a minute. Can you see the Arabs in the Middle East? You are the abomination. Be God. You are a harlot. Go clothe yourself.
No, we don't need that, y'all. We got to get Trump in office. I already went and voted. I got it over with because I'm not dealing with it tomorrow. It's going to be a madhouse. That's right. I know that's right. Look at that. Wow. When did you get that?
Down in Atlanta. I toured Georgia for 6 days from North Carolina to Florida. Black folk are all across the state joining in saying, no, that ain't what we want. And the young black men are saying, hey, you've been telling us we're toxic. We ain't worth stuff. Well, if we ain't worth nothing, screw you. You know what the most interesting
we got a lot of black men and Puerto Rican men are voting for Trump. They are not voting for Kamala.
Why should we vote skin that you're telling us vote for you because you're black? Well, you stinking white, so we can vote white.
There you go.
That was the thing.
And why wouldn't we vote for Trump? Why wouldn't we?
Well, the phrase
when he was president, everything was all right.
You're getting the phrase is you're sticking white, we can vote white. In other words, you're screwing white, we can vote white.
That's right. We sure can. I'm sorry. I've had
it. Sorry.
Well, Judge, I don't know how it was for you when you were younger, but in the community I come from, and it's pretty much like this if you literally grew up in the inner cities, we weren't given the option. We were told that we were Democrats. It wasn't like we had an option.
But
We were
see, I
told
had a
that we were
slightly different
Democrats.
option. When I grew up until 1960, you were a Republican if you were black. You might vote for FDR or Truman,
Mhm.
but Democrats were some filthy Klansmen. They were the sheriffs that locked Uncle William up. They were the sheriffs that helped lynch cousin George. They were the low-down racists that kept everything segregated. They were the ones that put up the fountains that said colored on over here when they're dirty and need to be washed, and the clean ones that worked over here, white only. See, those were Democrats. Now,
See, and we were taught. So you must have grown up in the southern states, or right?
no, Los Angeles.
Okay, you grew out on the West Coast. But
Yeah.
see, here in the North, I'm in Connecticut, and we were told that we were Democrats. And if we, I didn't find out until a young woman. I used to be a diehard Democrat. I voted very hard. I think the hardest person that I campaigned for was Governor Dana Malloy. And now it's interesting because Candace said that she was threatened in school, high school, where she had to do homeschooling. And I had no idea that it was his son. She said it was his son and a group of somebody that caused her to have to be homeschooled in high school. Now, me, granted, I still respect and love Governor Dana Malloy. I think he is and was one of the best governors in Connecticut. As far as it's being my experience, I thought he understood our community better than every governor that was ever in Connecticut. Now he was a Democrat. Now, it was at the end of his administration when I woke up and said, you know what? Everything that we were told that Republicans were about, it was them. They told us that the Republicans were racist. They don't help poor people, and they're going to get rid of all the programs. That's what they told us. So you better not vote for a Republican. We heard that all our lives.
Well,
Finally, I came out and said, no, that's not true. All I ever heard Republicans say is get off my tax dollars and get a job. But that's right. They
okay.
were right when they said that. Get
Well,
off. That's all I ever heard them say. I've never seen them come in they never came in our community. And I said, well, of course they're not coming in our community because the Democrats is it make them feel like they shouldn't even bother because nobody in the urban communities are ever going to believe you. They don't because you told us how they were. So why would they waste their time?
Okay, look, a lot of that is BS.
I know it's BS. That's
See,
why I'm a Republican now.
Okay, like Tom Bradley. Tom Bradley was the cop on the beat where I grew up in Los Angeles. He never lost a race down a back alley to beat somebody's head when they got out of line. He'd come up to you, didn't I tell you, boy, to get off this corner? Yes, sir. Then get off this corner before I warm that head. But
Who is this?
Tom Bradley, the mayor of Los Angeles, first modern black mayor of Los Angeles, but he was a captain on Los Angeles Police Department. They wouldn't let him become a cop until he was a licensed attorney. And then they let him ride around in the squad car. He rose to be captain and wound up being head of the Retired Policemen's Association. But I tell you something he did. He not only warmed head, he used to have meetings with all of the black men, white men, and their sons. And he'd say, My partner and I, we know there's some stuff going down on 62nd and Western. It ain't cool. You might want to look into it. If you got to deal with stuff, me and my partner, your alibi, you weren't there because we were talking to you. So if you got to go take care of business, go take care of business. He ran for mayor as a Democrat because they seized upon the opportunity to get rid of a guy named Yorty, who was a real live idiot. But Bradley ran for mayor of Los Angeles 3 times. He got elected. But see, that brother was nobody to mess with. Okay, you got Harold Washington. He was slightly a gangster. You had nobody to mess with that. So you had these black folk who could hold their ways in the streets. You had Mervyn Dimely, who became lieutenant governor of California, but I was standing 2 feet from him when LAPD beat him to the ground with nightclubs after he had identified who he was. So I know that brother wasn't half stepping. He was trying to uphold. See, they got these punks now that couldn't stand out in the streets. They got them eating a lot of chicken or masquerading as the Pillsbury Doughboy with chocolate chips like roly poly, or Chicken George, Chicken Al, and or sweet meat. What's his name in the Senate? Corey, cute
Booker?
Corey. Yeah, cute Corey. And they got a allegedly gay white Jew guy from Memphis, Steve Cohen, who is head of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee. Go think about that. These guys are running game on us. See, it's like somebody pointed out, said, you're dependent on Democrats to give you reparations, which they won't do, but we freed your asses from slavery. We did fight the Civil War after the Johnny Rebs, who were Democrats, started it. We did try to protect you when there was Reconstruction and Jim Crow, segregation, and all the rest of them. You love Kennedy because he called up his boys who were Democrats, the Democratic sheriffs down in the South, and said, back off this Negro. We're trying to get a Democrat back in the White House, so back off so we can get the Negroes voting for me, John Kennedy. Now, granted, the family's trying to make amends, and we've got Robert Kennedy, who's behind Trump. We've got Musk, who's behind Trump. And old Musk cracked me up. Did you see his little stand-up comedy moment? He said, I want a trophy. They give all of these kids in elementary school a plastic trophy for a participation thing. He said, I got a clear record. And you know what it was? He flashed his damn tax return, not for corporate taxes, but personal taxes. He paid over $10 billion in IRS taxes.
What?
Which is the highest any American has ever paid in individual taxes. He said, I want a trophy, at least one made out of plastic. I hold the all-time record for the highest amount of taxes ever paid by an American citizen. And that doesn't even include my corporate taxes. That's me personally. $10 billion plus. So don't anybody say a damn thing to me about me talking about taxes. That's $10 billion.
Wow.
So he flashed it. I said, damn, the dude does need a trophy. Hell, he's number one. Nobody's ever paid that much in taxes.
No, that's like wild.
$10 billion in taxes.
Billion.
Yeah.
Shit.
He said, I gotta screw you. I got the right to talk.
He said he wanted to.
Ain't nobody ever bought into this like me. The hell with you. I bought my right to talk. Give me my money back.
Well, so back to the Democratic Republican thing. Okay, so fast forward, we find out that everything the Democrats have been saying about the Republicans, they're the culprits.
Yeah.
They started the Ku Klux Klan. They burned down
Nathan
Oklahoma.
Bedford
These are all
Forrest.
Democrats. I'm like,
Nathan
at what?
Bedford Forrest, fastest with the mostest. Down
Yeah, and I'm like,
in
wait a minute.
Guess where? Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is in Cobb County, Georgia, which is part of Atlanta. In other words, the Klan had its first meeting in a county that goes into Atlanta. Atlanta has 3 counties, DeKalb, Cobb, and Fulton. So they all go into Atlanta. So part of Atlanta is where the Klan originated.
Part of Atlanta. Oh,
Yeah.
so it wasn't South Carolina and
No, it was on
remember
Stone Mountain. They had their first Klan meeting, Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is in Cobb County, Georgia, which includes part of Atlanta.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
So fastest with the mostest, Ned Bedford Forrest, who had a park here in Memphis, where they had a statue, a question statue, where his bones was buried, and some Democrats, one named Van Turner, who was on the county commission, and the other one, Tammy Sawyer, who was on the county commission, or got a resolution passed where Van Turner, who set up a corporation, could buy Nathan Bedford Forrest park for $1,000 no bid, and Miss Tammy had her brother take down Nathan for $55,000, stole his ass for 3 years at $5,000 a month, and then sold his goddamn statue to a Johnny Reb museum in Mississippi for $1.5 million. And they still split money that they bought that park for $1,000 for. And then they bought another one where Jeff Davis, president of the Confederacy, was located. And they got
sound
the same
just like
deal.
them Confederates.
God damn. Johnny Reb, boy. He knew how to keep them niggers in line. Yes, he did.
Oh, you.
Yes, but keeping niggers in line.
That's how it sounds.
And the niggers profited from that. And the black folk in the largest predominantly black city in America is sitting there paying these Democratic crooks. And they got young Democrats. And all of these young Democrats are mostly black females who epitomize what Mr. Vance was talking about cat women. Can't find no man, and they got a whole bunch of cats they hang out with.
Okay, so.
And they's ugly too.
You're a mess. So let's move it somewhere else, because I know I really wanted you to really touch on the campaign with me, and you did an excellent job. Thank you. This is like epic right now. But let's move into something a little bit more interesting that I found that you broke down.
Cloning.
I want to know. Yes, okay. First, I want to know, and I'm gonna turn my camera back on. I want to know, what is a cyborg?
A cyborg you can go find at your typical VA. They're modern vets who've gotten a leg blown off, 2 legs blown off in an arm, half their face taken off. They would have died 40 years ago, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, but they're still alive. So they've had mechanical parts replace their biological parts. That's a cyborg. You have some who have lost large pieces of their skulls and they have titanium plates in place. That's a cyborg. So it's technology where you take the human and you modify the human, sometimes by necessity because there's nothing else you can do because of grievous injuries. Possibly we could take the same technology and turn humans into robots, but with a human component So what a cyborg is technically something that has mechanical and organic aspects. We see that when we see these horribly injured veterans coming back from the war over in the sand pile, where they've been wasted by IEDs, improvised explosive devices, mines. And I want to say one other thing too. The cost of a Rhino vehicle, which is a mine-resistant vehicle that, depending upon its configuration, can seat between 6 and 11 young soldiers. It takes 2 of those to perform the surgery and the rehabilitation for converting some idiot who joins the armed services because he doesn't like being a boy. He wants to be a girl, like these 2 freaks that we have as admirals or generals in the American military that wear dresses, but they still got swinging dicks and bouncing balls.
Whoa. Judge, hold up. Okay, hold up.
So what I'm saying
Flag
is,
on the play.
I'm going back on it, but it takes 2 mine-resistant vehicles to pay for the surgeries and the rehabilitation, which puts 6 to 22 young Americans in jeopardy of being mutilated or dying. And if they're mutilated, then they get turned into the equivalent of primitive cyborgs in order to allow them to ambulate, to be able to carry on productive lives. And they're heroic, not only from what they suffered in pain and agony by getting their limbs destroyed, mutilated, smashed, ripped off, blown off, faces torn off, arms torn off, where you have somebody with no legs, no arms, and half a face, but nobody wants to deal with him once he comes back. He becomes a cyborg so he can carry on with the rest of his life. So being a cyborg is interesting. You can turn it into an abomination, or you can deal with it as a salvation for somebody's bad circumstances. So I just had to digress into what the Democratic Party has been doing, setting up situations where our money for the Defense Department is being used for abomination rather than dealing with fighting wars and salvation for the victims of these wars, who are American children, young adults who have been mutilated and damn near killed, who deserve better and would not have been mutilated had we spent more money on mine-resistant vehicles than cutting folks' dicks off and chopping their balls off.
So let me ask you this. So if someone is injured in the Army, like badly, and they lose both arms, both legs, okay, and they have some internal digestive injuries, are you telling me that they're now inserting chips in their head now so they could live, and now they don't have any of the body parts. Their
Yeah, you
brains
can
are
put the right kind
downloaded.
of chip in, and it can interface your brain waves with signals that go to these prosthetic devices, so the person can live a semblance of a normal life. Yeah, that's a cyborg. So you don't have, it's not all sci-fi Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, Meta,
Yes, ma'am.
can you help me to understand this? This is like really scary to me. What Judge is saying. Sometimes some people can break it down a little more understandable. This is scary.
No, it's
Can
not
they?
scary. No, it's not scary. I'm gonna do a build in a show. They do is called stochastic gradient bias barrier programming. What Judge O'Brien is talking about is that's more of synthetic. That's a synthetic way of doing it. And what he's saying is you just call the probes. You call gymnastic feedot probes, and they can connect to the low frequency brain barrier wave connect that to the device. But what I was telling you earlier was negatropic technology. He's talking about entropic synthetic transhumanism. So when you asked me earlier about, Judge O'Brown said something about the military did it first, you was unaware of that. I said no, he's correct. That was the first instance where they used transhumanism on the military vets, and this is exactly what people are going now. The problem is it's a synthetic way of approaching reality instead of using negatropic physics, which they don't really introduce in mainstream world. And negatropic is using technology that's all organic based. It'll be all limbs, it'll be organisms being replenished, stem cells to replenish any type of broken bone or something like that. You have stem cells in the navel, that's for the muscles that you can't get anywhere else in the body. So that's negatropic physics and technology. The government uses called entropic technology. Physics, even mathematics, is based off entropicness. So
Yeah, I agree. No problem. I'll tell you what else. The Defense Department has spent quite a bit of money, and they have prototypes that they've been working with monkeys and chimps. It's a helmet where instead of having to require implants, it uses high energy lasers. And you can read the brain waves, and the helmets cause the pilot to interface with the aircraft so he can operate systems in the aircraft, missiles, weapons, take defensive moves. All he's got to do is look and think, and the aircraft reacts without him actually having to move a control stick. You saw this with a movie, Firefox, that Clint Eastwood did years ago, decades ago. He was sent in to hijack and escape with a Soviet aircraft. And once he put the helmet on, all he had to do was think, and the aircraft would respond. And the caveat was, since it's a Russian aircraft, you have to think in Russian. And he was articulate in Russian, so they sent him to accomplish the mission. But they're actually working on it. So instead of having to move a joystick, finger of fire control, you just look at your target, you say shoot it down, and you think it, and it happens. So it's intrusive. You don't need implants, and it's not quite there right now, but they're working on it. And you see they can do that same kind of thing with necessity when somebody has injury, or to advance humankind, or to come up with a Terminator, so to speak. That
yeah,
one.
yeah, that's not, yeah. What he says to the better, that's not that bad. What he says as far as putting any type of helmet or any type of device on to control an external vehicle or a device. That's a little bit different as far as somebody changing limbs out the body and replacing with synthetic, like he was saying, prosthetic limbs and stuff. So the helmet part interfacing with something else externally, that's going to be a little bit different as far as somebody replacing things in their body, going inside the cranial nerve, putting a chip there and stuff like that. Not because I told you about the Fomorians, and the Fomorians are those that is pure organic negatropic societies with high technology, and they're not allowed to put any chip or any prosthetic in the body. They can lose their status, whether it's a captain, sergeant, whoever it is. But those that put the chip or any type of prosthetic, now you're considered a Borg. So that's why I was saying it's different from prokaryotic from domestic eukaryotic. The domestic eukaryotic is leaning towards a synthetic reality. That's why I was saying you got paint on your wall everywhere, synthetic makeup. They put you in a synthetic reality because you're in the synthetic programming. Presidents are all synthetic. Those are domestic eukaryotics. Those are not from source. Whether you say Kamala, Obama, whether you say Trump, really doesn't matter. Those come from the domestic eukaryotic, like I was telling you about the European coat of arms. Well, you see in the white version, they just got pushed out in the 1800s. But before that, we had the dark melanated coat of arms. And that's what I was telling you about the VMAT2 gene, the VMAT1 gene. These are synthetic genes that they've been programmed with. And that's why when they hear certain terminologies, when they see, hear, taste certain things, it sends these red, blue, or green codes, a light to that pathway. And that's why I got you guys to get on optogenetics, so you can actually see how this stuff works in real time, seeing how phosphorus lights is actually controlling the body. When a person hears, sees, thinks, or tastes something, the genes are automatically encoded this way. So that's why I was saying that everybody's in a synthetic situation at this point. You ain't gonna never see nobody from the land of America that's from the soil with that kinky hair and they're prokaryotic. You'll never get in a chair. You'll never be inside the governmental system because they did not send the Moors over to America back in the 14 and 1500s. The dark skinned crypto Jews, Sephardic Jews, they didn't send them over to take the land. They sent them over to colonize your genetics, to mix marry your telomeres, and to put locks on your telomeres, and a whole bunch of other things to disassemble your natural genome. Then they sent the Caucasian, the Habsburgs, which is still Charles, dark-skinned, swarthy people. Then they sent the Caucasian to Canada in 1700s. That's why we do a genealogy on a Canadian. Like I said, it's much, much easier to do his genealogy than somebody from the soil of America because they change your whole identity. Now you have their names. And there was no Caucasians in Canada before the 16 and 1500s, or Australia, or America. I sent you the brochures and the receipts showing that there was the first Caucasian slaves and servitudes coming from Europe was Caucasian on the same boat as far as the Muslim Moors. That was in 1685. And then that was the first edition that the Caucasians came over, not for government, but for servitude and slavery. And so that's why I say the boat that brought them over were the Catholics, and that's still melanated coat of arms. So that's why I was saying we're in a situation where you're getting introduced to transhumanism. It's actually syntheticness that you're getting ready to be pleased to. And this is entropic instead of negatropic science, technology, and physics.
I just say if you want to find out what the reality is, get a DNA test, depending upon who you get to do it and what you ask for. It ranges from just superficial to being able to tell you, okay, here's a guy over here in Wisconsin. He's got a common ancestor with you 28,000 years ago. And that's from someplace a little south of Siberia because you both have some Native American in you. You don't know it, but you got a lot of Chinese ancestry where because it came over from the foul location of China. And what it's all about is 1866.
But the DNA, but
Yeah.
Judge, not to cut you off, the DNA test is not, it does not give you the information. Whereas,
Oh, yes, it does. Yes,
the
it does.
but no, I mean like the genetics
No, you
test.
gotta go to a geneticist. You gotta
A
ask.
Yeah,
geneticist.
well, excuse me. I've gotten it done. It will tell you stuff like 23,000 years ago, you had this person that was a remote early ancestor. They went to China,
No, that's
and you got a descendant who came over the Barren Strait when the ice age was hit.
Oh no, that's a
That gave
fake one.
you, hold
No.
on, that gave you Native American ancestry. But aside from that, you've got recent ancestry that in your case might date from 1867,
No.
because the Southern Railroads had been destroyed, brought
No.
Chinese coolies over, and the Chinamen came over and they didn't have any Chinese nookies, so they got some recently for a freed slave nookie. So you have people who are ancestors or cousins from China. So it's interesting when you get a DNA analysis done, they can tell you where you came from, when you came from it, and what your migratory patterns were. So it's quite fascinating if you get that done.
So,
Okay.
what you got to say about that?
What say? Me?
No, I'll tell my sister Bethy. What you got to say about that?
Well, I said I would listen to Judge today, but I can agree. We can agree to disagree. I disagree, but that's his story. That's his belief.
No,
but
it's
we
not
can correct.
belief.
We can
It's
correct.
just they're telling you, and by the way, you have to deal with this. I have a unique situation. I have a family history where going back 206 years ago, it's detailed in writing, my family history. And when I got the DNA done, it exactly profiles the written family history. So I find that interesting. Comes from several sources. So you can do such things. And those are interesting things, but science is interesting. Now, I say this because I had, when I was at UCLA, a minor in vertebrate paleontology, and I focused on extinction events, but it got you into this thing about genetics to an extent as it was back then, and I haven't let it go. So you might want to do that and see where you go and where you come from and who your remote ancestors are.
Right.
Okay,
But
so
we have a astounding amount of data that shows that all this is incorrect. We have a
Well, it may be, but it doesn't match the science.
No, I'm talking about that, Mr. Judge Brown. I'm talking about we have a astounding amount of data that's been pointing towards there was no Caucasians here before the 1300s.
Well,
We have
there were no Caucasians here before the 1300s, except in the far northeast of the
no,
country
no,
where the
no, no.
Vikings seem to have been here. So,
No, I'm not talking about that, sir. I'm saying that we've provided plenty enough data to show there was even in China, we have plenty of tribes like the Libu tribe and other tribes. No one ever seen anybody in China before the 1600s or the 1700s. Nobody ever seen for example, in America, South America, Central America, and Mexico, we have Charles V came over to Costa Rica. That's in the 1600s. When they came with I showed the Aska and we showed the Inca tribe, the Singwa tribe, the Mashika tribe. There was nothing but dark-skinned melanated brothers and sisters, all in South and Central America. There was never no pale-skinned, straight-haired people that,
what?
that you call Española. Hispaniola was never a language that was in the 1400s. This is a new language introduced to South America, Central America, Mexico. So when Charles came over, this is our receipts on this. When Charles came over and the Catholics came over, and the Habsburgs came over, the Holy Roman Empire came over. They did not see anybody that was pale skinned with straight hair as we
Well,
see
nobody
in South
said there
America.
was. What do you? I'm not getting what you're
yeah,
referencing, son.
Oh,
Meta, we
I'm not getting your
I'm
reference because the 16th century is when you get the Spanish exploration
the Spanish
in.
were blacks.
Well, yeah, okay. I have a connection that I have investigated genetically through DNA with the Iberian Peninsula. That's Spain and Portugal. So, yeah, I researched it, but there were no alleged Europeans coming in with fresh migrations until the 16th century, when you got the Spaniards coming over trying to do what they did to exploit the North American, South American continents. That is what it is. So, of course, there'd be no Caucasian. Nobody's contending that the Caucasians did that, except perhaps based on the Norse sagas and
Oh,
runes that they found up in northeast
what, sir? Was
uh,
Mr.
United States, North America, where you get an incursion of Vikings, which is recorded in their sagas at somewhere around the 14th century, 13th century, 12th century.
No, I wasn't talking about Caucasians in South and Central America, sir. I'm talking about the people that y'all see there today with that silky straight hair and their skin is pale. No one, they weren't even over there during the 16th century.
Well, who are they supposed to be except intermixed Caucasians with the native population?
Everybody, those are called domestic eukaryotics. Even the language Española was just there in the 1700s. People in there was the Singwa tribe, the Mexica tribe, the Nazca tribe. These are
Wait a
all
minute, hold on. You're talking about all of the history in El Andalus with the Romance language, Espanol, that the Romans, Latins recorded the early antecedents for in great detail, going back to second century BCE or BC. That
no,
didn't exist.
No, that's phantom and duplicate timelines. When the Hasburgs came, we had receipts for this. I showed them the actual detailed receipts when the coat of arms came over the Hasburgs. When they came over, Charles V is the one who took the life of the empress of the Inca tribe, and there was nothing but dark-skinned people in Mexico, Central America, and South America. So, as far as the Española language, this is something new that was introduced in the last couple hundred years. No one spoke Española in the Central and South American region ever. This is called a domestic eukaryotic situation that all of y'all live in. I showed Sister Bethy the moon map, and the full moon map shows land that y'all have never seen before. Y'all are in a district from South America, the continent of Africa, Europe. That's all y'all know about. But this is a new situation where domestic eukaryotes have been released from the gene-edited facilities to China. There was no Chinese people, Vietnam, or Japanese people there before the 1600s.
Oh,
They,
come on.
I
That's
know this.
the oldest continuous civilization on the planet is in China.
No. Even if you look on the temples, India.
How can you say that? They've got continuous written records going
Yeah,
back almost 3,000 years.
no. So that's they just did. That's a huge investigation, duplicate and phantom
What
timeline.
investigation? So
Yeah,
you're going to negate what the Chinese had to say about their own circumstances?
I won't listen to anything when they say because they're domestic eukaryotics.
Wait. I thought sister was talking about eukaryotic, which has got to do with cell structure when I first heard it, but I see where you're coming from. But you're trying to tell me that the Chinese, who have a continuous culture, government, can name the dates, times, places, people, and policies that goes back somewhere around 3,000 plus years, that all of that is manufactured. That's
Yes,
false.
yes, sir. That's all.
And when Marco Polo encountered that in the
Yeah, there's a huge.
13th century, 14th century, that was already a falsity. And you're saying that didn't occur. So you got all of these verifications.
It's called phantom and duplicate timelines. You can check out Anatoly Famoli.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I sent it to you. There's a group of scientists, physicists, and astronomers who are Caucasians. Even they're saying the same thing.
Well, I wouldn't agree with them.
No, I'm
I
not
mean,
agreeing with
I'll
them.
read them, but
No, no, no.
that's
I'm
not
not.
resulting in my studies.
No, I'm not agreeing with them, Judge Brown. I'm just give you a reference where you can check out the stories that you said happened. Them same stories happened 3, 4, 5 times. What we're saying is there's absolute proof that there was no Chinese people, Vietnam, Philippines, Japan, Middle Eastern, white European, Espanola, and Central South America. These people just came out the gene clone facility in the last few hundred years. The first was the Caucasian. You can check out usarchive.org. Shows the first appearance of the Caucasian as the wild man. This is in the late 1300s, before they were given mathematics, science, any type of Renaissance era. The Renaissance era is what jump started the Caucasians during the 1500s, the late 1400s, and this is why we see them in the heads as far as having their foot into.
So let me put this to you. Genghis Khan and his sons and grandsons apparently were telling a mistruth when they talked about their efforts to conquer China.
No, I showed Genghis Khan as far as the devices and the board Genghis Khan. I brought
do
that
a
up and
share
showed it to him.
screen.
See, you disrupt. See, these people wrote extensively and left voluminous written history, but that's supposed to be false.
No,
That's
I'm not.
the contention.
No, sir. I'm not saying it's false. I'm saying that the stories what that people are hearing been going back for like you said, the BC. These same stories have been told 4 or 5 times. There was no Caucasians, no Asians, no Hispanics. Because I got something for you, Judge George Brown. When the coat of arms came over to Europe, they came to Costa Rica. We're talking about Charles IV. When they came over, they have never, you don't, and we don't, I don't, no one have no research showing that when the black coat of arms came to Europe, they kidnapped, killed, or harmed anybody that we see today called as Hispanics. How we see the tan skin and straight hair. There is no receipts on this. There are receipts that they came over with the dark tribes and the single tribes and the Mexica tribes. And this was in 1666, kidnapped from Costa Rica, Port Limon, dropped off in Jamaica. We don't have anybody in 1666 that was kidnapped, killed, or anything that was pale skin, the Hispanic that we see today in Mexico, Central America. So it's as if the Moors came over to make everything a safe place. So they were unaware that they were getting ready to roll out who we call domestic eukaryotics all across the district, because the land that you think is the whole world is a small piece. For I show receipts on all the other land masses that you're not allowed to go to. I show where if you go towards at the bottom of Chile, off the coast of South America, if you go up that coast, the Navy is going to make you turn around. If you go off the coast of China, I show a huge land mass between China and Australia. You're not allowed to go there neither. The Navy and the Air Force is going to make you turn around there also. And if you go above Ireland where Hyperborea at, they're going to make you turn around there also. It's not because you're going to fall off a ball called a globe. It's because you're going to go to an uncharted land that you're not supposed to know about. So I show receipts off of that to show the moon plasma is a silver ion reflector. I show how silver bromide, that's how you the
Well, hold on. Let me cut you off a minute and ask you this. I've been to these places on the ground and looked at them.
Uh-oh.
Why does that disagree or not comply with the theory you're putting forth right now?
I didn't understand you say, so you say you went underground where, sir?
I said I went and I looked on the ground in some of these places. I've been there. So why is it that what I saw, eyeball, doesn't match what you're telling me?
Because you don't know what you saw. What did you see
Oh,
at the
I know
temples of
what I
India?
saw.
What did you see when you seen the people in the
I
temples
saw,
of India?
and I'm well aware, and I made a great point of going and doing a bit of anthropological research on what I was encountering. I went into the libraries, looked up the histories, had been doing it for years, read the reports, looked at the chronology of the thing, and it just doesn't match what you're saying, son.
No, you never heard about what I'm saying. So have
I
you
have
seen the
heard
people?
what
Have you
you're
seen the
saying,
people inside
but
the temple of
you,
India?
but you are giving me stuff that does not match the written records.
Oh no, so
You're treating what is in fact relatively modern records as though they were ancient. They're not. And you are discarding stuff that is very much into the period of human history where there was a lot of literate recordations of what went on in writing. So we would have to abandon a lot of that. And what you're saying may have some relevance, but you have to set it back by a factor of 10 in order to get to the point where that may have been happening.
So Judge O'Brien, have you seen the temples, all of the temples, maybe hundreds, maybe even 1,000 of them over there in India? Have you seen the laser cut statues that's attached to some of them temples?
No laser cut statues, it's just good stonework.
Explain good stonework.
I've seen people duplicated while I'm looking at
No,
them.
you never. No,
I've
no,
seen people duplicated while I was watching them with primitive tools.
no. Oh
So
no,
why
no,
do you require lasers to do what somebody can do with a primitive tool?
no. So I'm talking about on the side of Angkor Wat. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
I know. I watched people duplicate what
no.
the process is with primitive tools while I was looking at them.
Okay, so I'm glad you just said that. So now I'm gonna pull it up. That's it. Let me pull it up.
Okay, you can do that, but I would suggest to you that your own history, our own history, is ample, it's sufficient. We don't have to create it. There's no need.
There is a need. There's a need to
No
do all
need.
of this what's going
I
on.
feel comfortable. I waged my war for a long time, quite a few decades. You can too. You don't need to create anything that is basically claiming something to be proud of. We already have stuff to be proud of. We just have to recognize what it is.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Now,
Okay.
you can find
While
it.
he's looking for specific documents, let me ask you this. While he's looking for that. Now, in this country, it's a law written that you cannot clone people. However, it's clear that this is happening in other countries. And is it, and this is all alleged. I'm just talking about, with the cloning, they passed a law that you can't clone here because if you do, you it's obvious it can be done with gene slicing, with different tools and things of
You
that
don't have
nature.
to gene slice to clone. That's not quite how you do it, but cloning is possible. You can look at Dolly the sheep, which is going on
I'm talking
30.
about of humans.
No, I'm talking about it's a mammal. It's a complex mammal. It's an herbivore, but basically the process is the same. It's more than almost 40 years since they cloned Dolly the sheep.
Okay,
Technology
so what is
there,
your what is your
but
take on the Cabbage Cats kids?
it's ethically verboten. But there is a scientist in China that cloned a set of twins, and they are 3 or 4 levels or decades ahead of their development schedule. They're geniuses. They're physically almost super people. And China said, hey, that's a little bit too much, but it's what you can do with genetic modification and cloning. We can technically clone humans. The way I ran into it is 50 some years ago. The lesbian community was hoping that they would be able to quickly clone people so they could get rid of the necessity for men and they wouldn't have to deal with us. It hasn't worked out that way. You've got a situation right now where in the People's Republic of China, you can get a gene-based therapy for type 1 and type 2 diabetes, which is not a treatment, it's a cure, but it requires fresh stem cells. But in the United States, because of its posture relative to abortion, you can't get those things. China has a lot of aborted fetuses that provide fresh stem cells that allow the process. What you do is you genetically modify a virus, you infect the patient with the virus. His genes now reflect a healthy situation, but it doesn't do any good until you give him an infusion of fresh stem cells so his body can grow into a modified state, which cures him or her of diabetes, either type 1 or type 2. I think the process is about $250,000, and you need a month worth of residency in Hong Kong or Singapore to get the process done, but you can't do it here. They started off with the research here, but there was a lot of pushback, so they transferred it to China. China snapped it up, and it works well.
Okay, so
But that's what you can do. But clone possible
yes,
theoretically.
I see it. So
Okay, y'all see this?
yes.
Okay, you cannot use stone, picks, axles, and regular tools to build something out the side of a mountain.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. This right here is called.
I've seen it done.
No, you ain't never
Done
seen. Judge O'Brown, you never use a stone and go on the side of a mountain. This is
Yes,
the
I
side of
have. I've done it. Just this is
Yeah.
an experimental thing.
Oh,
Right.
Judge
There
Joe.
it is, y'all.
So you can do it. So I mean, I'm
Judge
not
Joe.
negative. Give me a chance.
Everybody watching,
But
look
it
at this
can be
real quick.
done.
No, sir. You can. This is the side of a cliff of a mountain. You
Sure.
have to have, no. You have to have a glitchification drill to do this.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. A
If
glitchification
you, for
drill.
example, the boogeymen right now are Masons, Freemasons.
There it is,
But if
y'all.
you advance
There it
far
is.
enough in Masonry, they'll
There it
tell
is.
you how to do this, and you can
There
do
it
it.
is, y'all.
Learn it.
The Freemasons, y'all. There it is. The
No,
Moors.
it's a boogeyman, right? It's
There it is.
easy.
No, it's called
But see,
glitchification.
Masonry teaches you how to do that. That's why
There
it's
it is,
secret.
y'all.
So people don't know when they say what you're saying, rather
There
than
it is,
learning
y'all.
how to do it.
There. So
It was a
everybody.
valuable skill. It was worth a lot.
Anyway, y'all, let's get back to reality. This right here is cut off the side of a mountain. You cannot cut this out the side of no mountain with no pick axle.
Yes,
have to
you
have
can.
No, you can't.
You don't
That's why
have
you
to
ain't
get a
did it yet.
pickaxe.
Everybody, look at
You
what y'all
can do
looking at
all
right now.
kinds of things about heating, wedges,
How much
all
do they pay
kinds of
you? How
stuff.
much
You
they
can
pay you
do
to do
that.
this? Hey, wait
You
a
don't
minute. Y'all see
need.
them walking? Let me let
You
y'all see
can do, son. I've seen this done. You
I don't
can
want to
do
hear.
it.
I don't want to hear, man. I don't want to
I
hear.
know how to do it.
I
Oh,
bet you do.
Judge
You
Joe
might.
Brown, you say
I know that's how much they pay them to say
he
that.
said he
But
know
it's
how
a
to do it.
boogeyman. You don't like
Everybody,
Freemasonry, but Freemasons, if they progress enough in the craft, know how to do this.
there it is, y'all. There it is. Anybody, hey, look
They
at this
can
real
do it.
quick. Everybody, you see, wait a minute. You see how much it is? This man
Look,
saying that.
they've got written records about
There
this
it is,
going
Oh
y'all.
back
my
quite a
Hey,
goodness.
long
so
period
Judge
of time.
O'Brown,
So
Judge
you're
O'Brown, how do you do
negating
it?
it.
How do
All
you
of the
do it?
people that saw this quite a bit long before you're saying it happened. So they saw it.
No, they didn't. How do you do it?
I'm not going to tell you because it's
There
a
it is,
secret.
y'all. There it is, y'all.
That's
There it is, y'all.
masonry.
I'm
Did
not
you
gonna
get
tell you.
mason?
Judge.
Masons build. What do masons work with?
Masons are Moors.
Stone, brick,
Masons are
and
Moors.
stuff
Put
like
on.
that. They put stuff together
Hey,
and
so y'all
make
see
it.
this? Hey, Judge O'Brown say, you see this picture right here? This is
Yeah,
what
I
they did to
see
build
that.
it. This is what they did.
That's easy enough to do if you know. I mean, it requires art. It's
So why can't,
skill,
wait a
but you
minute.
can do it.
So I'm a material scientist. So that's why I'm asking you, how do you do this? And you say
I
you ain't
know
gonna
how
tell me.
to. I've seen people do this stuff.
There it is, y'all. There it
I've
is.
seen people do this
There
stuff.
it is. How much they pay these
So
people to get
you
on to
just
do this,
don't
man?
know.
How much they pay? Look, I do know. No.
No, look,
I
and
do know how to do this.
look. If you've seen John Wick,
Oh, there it is, y'all. John Wick.
no, if you've seen John Wick,
Don't do this to me. Don't do this
no,
to me.
John Wick, Keanu Reeves trained along with Halle Berry. They can do that gunplay in reality. That's not Hollywood make. I
So
can
they,
do that.
so you
I've
saying
been
they?
shooting for 72 years, so I know how to do that.
I bet you do.
But
So
most people, 71 years, most people don't know how to do that. But if you have the skill, you can.
you ain't no.
If you have the skill, you can do this.
So tell me how do they build?
And go look up Gobekli Tepe.
Go back to
Gobekli
Tempe.
Tepe.
Don't make me do that because you can't
Gobekli
explain this
Tepe.
right
Go
now.
look it up. Go
So
look it
help.
up.
So help me.
Gobekli Tepe in Turkey and see what they were able to do a long time before this. See, humans, we're smart. And
I'm
we
not.
figure
We're not
stuff
humans
out. And
though.
one of the classic things is we're supposed to be too stupid to figure it out until something came along and it's magic and it
We're not
works.
speaking of magic. We not.
No, but I'm not speaking of that. But see, people have known how to do this for a long, long time.
So as a material science or condensed material science, sir, can you help me figure out how can we use pixels to cut out the side of a mountain like the picture y'all
Easy
looking
enough.
at? Huh?
I've seen it done. I've done it.
There it is, y'all. There it is, y'all.
I've done
There it
it.
is.
And
There
you
it is.
can use very primitive tools. You can use
There it is, y'all.
antlers and bone and stuff. You can use stones that you have shaped. If you know
There
how
it
to
is,
shape
y'all.
them, you just get
Hey,
a
look,
hard stone and
they
the
cut
stuff
this.
you're
Look,
trying to
hey,
cut. This
everybody.
is essentially limestone. Limestone can be cut with quartz and stuff. You don't even need steel or iron. You invent iron and steel. You can do this all day long.
There
You
it
can
is,
take
y'all.
antlers. You can take this and put cracks and stuff.
Oh
You can
man,
heat
yeah,
it
you
up,
guys stick to
pour
politics.
boiling water over it, all kinds of stuff. This is
Oh,
not
God.
overly complicated for
You're not
someone.
going with Judge O'Brien. You're
no.
gonna have to.
We're not making it complicated because I can tell you exactly how to do this. But what you saying as far as getting a pixel in the axe, that ain't gonna cut it. This
It
right here is
will.
the
I've
side of a
seen it
mountain.
done.
Stop it,
Done.
man.
If
Stop
you
it.
have the
pixel and the
perseverance
axe.
A
and
pixel in the
a lot
axe.
of free
I
labor,
told
you
you.
can do all of this.
Sister
It's
Bethy.
no problem.
Sister Bethy, that's why I told you
No,
they have politics.
this is technology that existed at the time this stuff was designed and constructed.
No, it ain't. This stuff was inhabited by dark-skinned people who left.
Oh, it doesn't make any difference. Anybody, there are a lot of people on the planet,
Sister
dark
Bethy,
skin,
now you
bright
see,
skin, who
Sister
can do
Bethy, now you see why I teach your people the difference from the genetics. He just said it don't matter, but it do matter.
Look, people all over the planet Earth have been
No, it ain't no all planet nothing word. No, we got invasive species.
Anyway, they can.
No, they can't. Invasive species.
They can. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this: who invented gunpowder?
See, there it is. Now
Who
watch that trick.
invented gunpowder?
Watch that tricky. Watch you say the Chinese.
Who invented gunpowder?
Watch you say the Chinese.
Okay. If it's not the Chinese, who did?
Now you messed up. You want to know why you messed up? Wait. I'm finna tell you.
Who did?
Wait, you know why you messed up? Because I knew he was gonna say the Chinese. How did the Chinese invent gunpowder if the Moors had gunpowder?
And who was kicking whose ass?
He ain't heard none I said.
Who was kicking whose ass? Did the Moors conquer the planet?
Wait.
No, they didn't.
Wait, let me talk.
Who sit there and put everybody in check once they introduced gunpowder?
Judge,
The Moors By the way, the Moors, what you're talking about, are from northern Nigeria.
Oh yeah, he
But is
tripping.
now
He
the
tripping.
conglomerate
Yeah,
of
he
Hassan
tripping.
Fulani, who
Yeah, he tripping.
behaved
Hey,
as the
sister,
cavalry
let me get the
for
people real quick.
Islam for
He just
about.
ran his mouth.
Hey,
Hey,
Judge,
hey,
let him respond,
hey,
right?
now, Sister Bethy, you
Let
know
him
I knew he was
respond.
gonna say China. That's
Come
why I
on.
said China. Wait. I knew he was gonna say China. How did China invent gunpowder if the Moors and coat of arms had it since the 12 and
The
1100s before
Moors
China
didn't
even
have
over
the
there?
welcome. God,
Man,
no. You're
I
giving me
told you.
myth.
I
If
told
the Moors had gunpowder, there would
Moors
be
is
a
not
whole
from
different
northern
world.
Liberia.
And it isn't.
The Moors are not from northern Liberia. The Moors
They're
are from
from
Europe.
northern Nigeria. They're
There
the
it
House
is,
of
y'all.
Fulani.
There it
They
is, y'all.
served as the cavalry. They were in El Andalus. If you talk about Moorish architecture, you can go to the Iberian
Man, this ain't his
Peninsula,
cup of tea,
Spain,
man.
and Portugal right now, and they'll show you how they did
This ain't
it.
his cup of tea, man. Sister Beth, I
So
knew you were gonna say
anyway,
China.
get off the myth. Get into reality.
There
Just
it
check
is,
it
y'all.
out.
So
Go
everything,
there. Look on the ground.
so Sister Beth, he's saying everything I
Why
taught
do you
y'all is a
need
myth.
to create the mythology?
But I knew he was gonna say China. I knew he was gonna say China.
China, everybody on the
There
planet
it is, y'all.
acknowledges that gunpowder came
There it
from
is,
China.
y'all.
All right?
There it is,
It
y'all.
is three
Chinese
parts.
people did not
It
invent
is,
no gunpowder
it is
first.
potassium or sodium nitrate, which is known as saltpeter. You can get it
You
from
ain't heard
fish,
nothing I said.
or
You
you
heard
can
nothing I
get it
said.
from bat or bird
You
guano.
ain't heard nothing I
It
Brown,
said.
consists of
we just
sulfur.
gonna have to
It
dissect it
consists of
tomorrow.
charcoal. You can make it. I know
We
how to
knew
make
you.
it.
Wait a minute.
I've
We
made
knew
it.
you. I knew you was gonna say
I've
China.
made it.
I said China
Have
before
you
you
ever
said
made
China.
black powder?
I said
Yes or
China
no?
before you
Have you
said
ever
China.
made it?
The Chinese people did not
Have
put
you ever
gunpowder
made it?
inside the black European coat of arms hands. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
Oh, watch this.
Well, why
Okay,
didn't
so
the
watch
black
this.
people
Watch
write
this.
about it when the Chinese did?
Watch
So
this.
you have records that go back to China that say this is how we made it.
Watch
So
this.
you got that. So where are the records that the Moors wrote about how they made it?
You don't have none.
Where
And that's
you
why
have
you stunk.
saltpeter,
You don't have none.
you have charcoal, and you have sulfur.
Wait a minute.
You have basically 3/4 of the mixture is charcoal.
Look, I
You
said you was
have
gonna say China.
basically.
I said you was gonna say China. And when
Yeah,
you
I
say
know.
China, look. You
Would
know
I
why you
say
messed
China?
up? Because when you say China, you thinking about the 18 and 1700s. I
I'm
hope
not
you know
talking about 18 to 1700s. You're way wrong, son. I'm talking
Man,
about 1200s.
stop it. You need to stop it. So y'all see this right here? No, stop it.
1200s.
You see
The
these universities
Europeans
right here?
started having experiments with the gunpowder they brought in from China in the
Man,
1300s, the
stop
14th
it. There it
century.
is, y'all.
So what are you talking about 15, 1800s? You're 500 years too late.
No. You just added 500 years. 1200. This what you looking at right here is
No,
all
I
these
said the 1300s is when Europeans first became aware of it. 1300s.
Europeans.
Yeah, 1300s, they became aware of it.
So what's
where are the wars?
so Judge O'Brien, what's a domestic eukaryotic versus a non-domestic eukaryotic?
It's a fictitious term, a karyotic situation. You're talking about whether or not the organism has a defined nucleus that contains its DNA material.
So what's the difference from the tribes? Wait a minute, are you saying everybody have the same backgrounds being eukaryotic? That what you saying? Everybody on Earth?
You look up eukaryotic. You're talking about a type of cell.
No, I'm asking you, sir. I'm asking, are you saying
Typically
everybody on the planet
plants,
eukaryotic?
fungal items, and animal items from the primitive on up are eukaryotic. That's
So you
when
said
you start having a discrete cell membrane. That's
so you
when you
saying
start
everybody's
having
eukaryotic?
a discrete nucleus wherein you find the DNA, and you have a side one that's got RNA, perhaps, or you have the mitochondrial collection from the maternal side. So, okay.
No. Are you saying everybody everybody is eukaryotic, or there's Chinese tribe?
All eukaryotic is the word you're thinking
No,
about.
it's called eukaryotic. Are you saying everybody the same?
No, eukaryotic just has to do with a cell structure.
No. I'm saying the tribe, like Sister Bethy says, she's the natural tribe from America. We got the Chinese who we talking about.
Okay,
Everybody
well,
else.
let's put it this way. Part of my ancestors, my grandmother was a Choctaw. I know what they have to say about their ancestry. Okay, I have black ancestry, and obviously, since I'm pale, I have some white. Okay, so there's a whole bunch. Some of my other kinfolk have surprisingly, because the fact that they had Chinese coolies here, they got a lot of Chinese ancestry.
No, not that. No, that's not what I'm saying. Are you saying that everybody is a eukaryotic? Like
Eukaryotic is what the word is. Look up eukaryotic.
Okay, well, you said your way or my way. Are you saying that everybody is the same? They have the same genome? That what you saying?
Look, there is very little difference between humans when you get down to analyzing them DNA wise.
There it is,
Some
y'all.
of the
There it is.
differences,
There
some
it is.
of
You
the
said we all the
differences
same, y'all.
deal
There it
with
is, y'all.
skin color
I told you
and
they
hair
paying people in
texture,
government
hair
high
color,
money to
and
do
eye
this. I
color.
told y'all,
There
man.
are other things that
Man,
have
you
to do
need to
with
stop it.
skeletal manifestation,
Man, it's time to go to sleep,
muscular
man. I'm done.
structure, and a
All
lot
right,
of
stop the
other
share
things.
screen because we'll.
Man, I'm done.
So
Stop
Let
the
me
share
stop
why
the
are
share
screen.
you,
screen.
wait a minute, let me ask you a question.
I'm
Why are you
done.
so needful for creating this particular
You
Who? Wait
gotta
a minute.
stop the
Who?
share screen. Hit the
outcome
stop the share screen
description?
button
Why do you need this?
But I put.
where it says stop
Oh,
share
okay. I
screen.
see it. I see it.
All right, I
Okay.
stopped it.
Okay. So
So
what you said,
we'll
sir?
dialogue it. We'll dialogue it tomorrow because you're not. This is Judge Joe Brown. Nobody wins an argument with him.
I ain't trying
Yeah,
to argue.
because what you're doing, son, I
No,
understand what you're saying, but your dates aren't even
no, but I
accurate.
know what you doing. You out of
No,
date, and you ain't up
look,
to date.
I've
You ain't up
read
to date.
writings within the time scale that you're talking about,
Man,
where
stop
people
it,
who are
Judge. Stop
contemporaneous
it,
and
Judge.
stuff were
You need
writing
to
about
stop
it.
it.
So
Judge, you
it's
need to stop it, Judge.
interesting that
And then you
somebody
say,
500
wait,
years
wait a minute. And then you
before
say you
what you're
seen,
talking about, 300 years before what you're talking about, wrote about it. What are they prognosticating and foretelling the future?
yeah. So let me take that's called duplicate and phantom timelines. Hey, sir, did you say you see somebody use
Oh,
chisels? You said chisels
look,
look
look,
and
look,
stuff,
look. The
right?
problem is
God.
There it is, y'all.
masonry is
There it
about
is.
5,000 years old. The mason.
5,000 years.
Yes, it's about 5,000 years old.
Hey,
If you
Sister
were
Betty, you see how they
Masonic,
back these
you'd know what
timelines
it
up?
was about, but you're not.
Sister
So
Betty,
a
you
lot
see
of
how they
what
back
you're
these
talking
timelines up?
about
That's why they got
is
them in
stuff that
position.
was
I'm just gonna
learned
let Joe be Joe.
4,000 years ago. So we know
4,000
how
years.
to do it, but
Wait,
we
wait,
don't
wait,
tell
wait, wait.
everybody.
So the
So
reason
you're
why,
sitting here talking about something that's impossible
Can't
without
get
a
a
certain
word in with Judge
modern
Joe Brown.
so
technology.
that's why,
The
so
point
Sister
is,
Betty, so
we did it.
Sister
See, if
Betty,
you
that's
were
why I
a
don't go
mason, you
4,000
learned
years
how
or
to
5,000
build
years before.
monumental architecture, the pyramids. We know
Sister
how to
Betty,
build
Sister Betty,
pyramids. We
if you
just don't
notice,
I'm
tell
listening.
anybody.
Sister
Now
Betty,
you're
if you notice
discovering
on
how
your
to do
channel,
that on
I
their own.
don't go 4,000, 5,000 years back when I go on your
Yeah.
channel because we have a situation. Wait, we have a
Let's see.
situation right now. Judge O'Brien
BCE
can go 5
starts
and
in about
10,000 years back,
2,000 some
but
years
he
ago.
don't know that when the Habsburgs came to South America,
Oh,
he don't
that's
know there wasn't
way
no
far in
it
the
wasn't no people
future.
over there with straight hair.
The
He don't even know that.
Habsburgs,
So,
that
Sister
was a
Betty, that's
group
why
of
they had
Europeans
these
that
in
was a
position,
family.
so they
That's
don't allow
modern.
you to get
That's
to that type of
modern.
level of genetics.
That's not
Judge
ancient.
Joe
That's
Brown don't even
modern.
know that when the
That's
Moors came
modern,
over to
son.
America, there was no Caucasian straight hair
That's
people in Central
modern,
South America.
son.
You don't
And
even know
nobody
this.
said there were
All right.
Caucasians.
Hold up.
You don't even know
See,
this.
the problem
Okay, hold up.
is you're trying to put this into an out of context situation.
Because
Even
I
white
think out the
folk
box
don't
and I got
claim
evidence
they
for out the
tried to
box.
settle North America, South America until the 16th century. Columbus, remember, 1492. That's the end of the
What's his real
15th
name?
century
What's his real
when
name?
Ferdinand and Isabella
What's
unified
Columbus' real name?
Spain and ejected from El Andalus all of the
What's
Islamic
Columbus' real name?
folk who
What's
didn't
Columbus'
convert.
real name?
What?
What's Columbus' real name?
Hell if I know, he was an
There it
Italian.
is, y'all. There it is. There it
It's
is, y'all.
All right.
irrelevant.
No,
Oh
It's
no, it ain't
irrelevant.
irrelevant. It's not
okay.
irrelevant. His name is
Okay.
Salvatore Ferdinand.
He talked Ferdinand and Isabella into financing an expedition because he said he would find a shortcut to India and China to get the spices because he had learned that the world was round. That had been known for a long, long
Wait a minute.
time
So the world is round. We're on a
to
ball.
the Latins and to the Greeks, to the
Wait a minute. We're on a ball.
Phoenicians. That
Judge
was
Brown.
known.
We're on a ball of Earth, a round ball. That what you said?
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. I'm gone, y'all. I'm gone. There. We walking on a ball. There it is. Like I told Sister Bethy, I gave
Son,
y'all
if you don't know the
research.net.
physics
I gave y'all
behind
plenty
that,
of
you
material
don't know
scientists.
enough to
There
participate
is
in the
nobody
discussion
that's a
because
scientist
you
going to
lack a
replicate
knowledge
any
of the
experiment
background
walking on a
situation.
ball.
So
There
what,
is no
is the
experiment.
planet flat?
No. There is no material science. Research.net. Y'all can go there and you can pay for anybody to
You're saying
replicate
the
any
planet is not a
experiment.
globe.
There is nobody going to replicate you walking on a ball as a material scientist. You won't see any experiments on YouTube. You won't see any of this type of stuff going on. He can't explain it. He just said pixels and
I
atoms
had
is what
physics
built
as
everything
major.
out
I
of
can
Calloway
easily
Temple.
explain it,
This
but
is
it
why
would
they
be
had
way
these
over your head.
Sister Bethy. That's
It'd
why
be
you don't
way
see me
over
talk
your
about
head.
4,000 or 5,000
You're
years
saying
ago,
the
Sister
planet
Bethy.
is
all
not
right,
round?
all
Oh,
right,
come on.
all right. Hold up.
Come
I didn't
on.
Hold
say
If
up.
you can
flat. I didn't
see
say
it
I
from
didn't
outer
say totally flat. I
space,
just said that can you walk on a ball?
you can certainly walk on a globe. That's what the planet is. It's a
There it
globe.
is, y'all. There it is.
Look at the moon when it's
There it
full.
is,
You can
y'all.
see it.
There it is, y'all. There it is. Hey, so
Okay.
Sister Betty, you
Oh,
know it's on your channel. I never go back 5,000 years because something strange happened just a few hundred years ago. This is why they have mainstream puppets, mainstream politicians. Their position in archaeology is to date the back date as far as they can to invite the domestic eukaryotic species to walk amongst the original tribes melanated all over America. When you look on the temples in India, those are all melanated sisters and brothers. I showed y'all the cornrows. I showed y'all
Okay,
everybody on the side
fine.
of them temples
Nice,
are dark
nice.
skinned melanated.
But you don't have enough knowledge to speak on that because you don't understand that every single planet, moon that's running around here is essentially
Moon?
spherical. The
What's the
moon
moon
is
made of?
spherical. The
What's the moon
planet
made
is
of?
spherical. It's
What's the
not a
moon made
perfect
of?
sphere because it's got distortions.
No, it
But
ain't.
yeah,
No,
you
it ain't. It's
walk
round
on the
because of
water.
plasmoid. No,
So
it's
you
not.
don't even
The
have the
moon is
right
a
date
plasma.
on
So
it.
the
Son,
moon's
go
a
do some more
plasmoid.
research.
The moon's a plasmoid.
You're
That's why it's
talking
round.
about the world is on the back of a giant
If
tortoise.
y'all notice, he don't speak any scientific information about
I
describing
know
something.
plenty of scientific information. Been
So
there,
what's the moon made
done
of?
that. I just
What's the
told
moon
you I
made out of?
personally eyeballed and witnessed people doing what you're talking
What's the
about.
moon made of? There it is. He trying
Nobody
to
can
dodge that
do it.
question,
I've
y'all.
seen people do
What's
it with
that? What's the moon made
several
of, Judge
times.
O'Brown? What the moon made of, Judge O'Brown? What the moon made of?
Basically, a lot of the same material that is this planet is made
There
out
it
of.
is, y'all. There it is. Hey, sister,
So
sister,
what?
ask me what the moon
Okay.
made of. I'll break it down.
All
What
right.
is the moon made out of?
You're looking at a
Hold up.
plasmoid projector. So
What
what
the
I
hell
showed
is? Wait a minute.
See, you don't
Plasmoid
even know what it
projector. What
is.
do
You
you mean
don't
by
even know what it is. So I showed y'all the spectroscopy of plasmoid interferometry. And so when you're dealing with any type of plasmoid or ball lightning, it's going to form an orb. This is what orbs do when you get inside plasmoid physics. That moon is a plasmoid projector. That's why I was able to show y'all the moon map. So on the full moon, I can show y'all all the other land that y'all have never seen on the maps that y'all ever observed, because that moon is a silver ion bromide projector. When they gave y'all the first cameras, that flash of light it hit was called silver ion bromide. When the photon hits silver ion bromide, it makes the image on the film. So y'all took it to the dark room to make a full picture. So that's dealing with plasmoid physics.
Son,
This
look, let me
man don't
tell
know
you
nothing
something.
about nothing like that, man.
Let me tell you something.
Man, I'm
Let me
done.
tell you something.
There it is,
A
y'all.
roommate of mine and I in
There it is,
DC,
y'all.
we drove down to Cape Canaveral, which is Cape Kennedy, Florida. We watched one of the night launches for the Saturn V. It was awesome.
Oh man.
We sat there and we back in DC, we utilized somebody's very powerful telescope. We watched the space capsule, Apollo capsule, on the way to the moon. We saw
It is, y'all.
the capsule.
Hey, Sister
We
Betty, he
didn't
don't even
see
know
it
that Caucasian
land
came
on
and
the
go on the
moon,
moon. He
but
don't
we
even know that.
observed the thing when they launched the recovery vehicle from the lander to go back and rendezvous in orbit. with the main capsule that was orbiting the moon. We watched that, so it's like we
Man,
saw
wait a
it.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Okay,
you
no,
ain't
no,
you
no,
ain't
no,
see
no,
nobody
no.
orbit nothing because you'd have got.
Yeah, we
Where's the
did.
picture
We
of the other
watched
side of the
through a
moon?
telescope, a very powerful one that belonged to a
We'll
It
we'll
is,
we'll
y'all.
we'll, we'll
So
dissect
we
Wait a
it
minute.
watched
tomorrow.
it.
Wait a
So
minute.
the
He said he
point
saw
of
the other side of the moon. What the other side of the
no,
moon
they
look like?
didn't go on the other side of the moon.
You said they
We
rotated.
watched them lift off from the surface. The two-man crew that was returning, they left the body of the lander on the moon, but we watched the return vehicle as it lifted off. We saw the thing take off. We watched it. They have very powerful telescopes. We observed it in
Wait a
real
minute. You say
time.
y'all observed him going to the moon, walking on the moon?
Yeah, we
There it
didn't.
is, y'all.
Well,
I'm
look,
done.
we
There it
didn't
is,
watch
y'all.
them walk on the moon.
There it is,
But
y'all.
what we did is we watched the capsule on the way to the
He
moon.
the only
You
one
see
that
it
saw
right
this because
well.
nobody seen this.
Yeah, we saw it.
There it
We
is,
did.
y'all. I'm
Judge
done.
so proud.
And you know what's interesting? You are relying
Hey,
on stuff
look.
that
Hey,
you
Judge Brown,
heard,
you can't
Wait,
walk
but
on
I saw
plasma.
it.
You
So
can't
you
walk
Judge
on
so
did.
plasma.
proud.
So I'm an eyewitness. You're just relying on hearsay.
Look, you can't walk on plasma.
There is no plasma. The moon is
Whoa.
solid.
There, hey, Sister Beth,
The
I'm gone.
moon
I'm
is
done.
solid.
All right.
What?
So we got
There it
I
is,
have
y'all.
watched them
wait.
shoot laser beams
Okay.
at it and get them
All right,
reflected
madam,
back.
mute up
It's
for a minute.
solid. So how do you
Okay.
say this?
Let him
Is your
have it. We
major
gotta let Judge.
physics?
He's the judge.
Is
Yes.
your major geology?
Yes.
You have a geology major.
No, material
Do you
and
have a
condensed material.
physics
No,
major?
material. Look, we talking about material.
Do
So
you have
material,
a physics major?
that is material science
Do
and
you
condensed
have
material science.
excuse me, do you have a major in astrophysics?
You look, you're not hearing what I'm saying. We talking
I
about
hear what
materials.
you're saying.
That's material science.
Excuse me, I don't. What is your major in?
There it is, y'all. He ain't getting it. They
No,
built.
I get it. What is your major
There
in?
it is. I
What is your
said
major in?
material and condensed material science is.
Excuse me, what do you call that major?
What do you mean you call that major?
What do you call the major you claim you have in your researches and your studies when you were in
No.
college?
This is what I am.
Where did you get the information that allows you to declare you have these academic
So
credentials?
what I did is I tried to point you when you say you didn't understand what plasma was. That's
I
plasma.
know what plasma
No,
is.
you didn't. You say you ain't know what it
I
was.
know
Stop it.
what plasma is.
No,
as
not
a
plasma.
technical
Not plasma. Not
description.
plasma. Not plasma. Plasmoids.
Plasmoids?
Yes,
Okay,
not
I know
plasma.
what it says in physics about that, but it's not what you're saying.
Plasmoid. Plasmoid. Plasmoid.
This define it.
So let me teach you. That's what it's all about. So the plasmoid is an orb of plasma controlled. It's not just plasma. So plasmoids are doing ball lightning, for example. Plasmoid is dealing with that moon, that sun that you're looking at, a projected plasmoid, which is a spherical plasma projected device. So this is dealing with plasma interferometry and spectroscopy. I'm not making this up. I even showed them data, books and literature that they can see this done and get info about how this works in a plasmoid projected field. This is not a theory. This is actual stuff you can see with your own eyes.
Santa Claus, this is what I want for Christmas.
There it is, y'all. There it is.
All right. So all right, we did enough of this. We'll
Son,
dissect.
you need to
Matter,
go
we can
back and
dissect
further
this
your
another
study.
day.
I don't need nothing. I need you to
Yes,
start
you
telling
do.
people. I need you to start telling
Yes,
people
you
we all
do.
alike. I
Yes,
need you
you
to
do.
start telling people we all alike.
Yes, you do.
No, I
And
don't.
there
I
is a
need you.
great deal of similarity. If
I
you
need you to start
analyze,
telling
if you
people we
get
all
your
alike.
DNA analyzed, you will find out something interesting.
There it
There are
is,
going to
y'all.
be very, very few people in this on this continent who have an exclusively African ancestry, where there is no input from Europe. Even the
There it
ones
is,
that
y'all.
have that,
Hey, Sister
who
Beth, how
have
much they pay him to
European
do that?
input. There's
Sister
not
Beth, how much they
No,
pay him to do
all
that?
right,
white
leave,
on this
let Judge
continent who
finish.
does
Let him
not
finish
have
out.
some
Because
African
we're gonna move
ancestry.
on to my last question. All
Go
right,
ahead.
so this is the last question because we got to let Judge go to get rest. So
I
this
don't
is
need
the
rest. I got three or four more things to do. Go ahead.
okay. So, Judge, is there okay? First of all, this is my more question for those damn Moors. Is there a such thing as a sovereign citizen?
No.
Okay.
Let
Is
me tell
there
you
a
why.
such thing as sovereign states?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so if why is it that these little jailhouse Negroes, that's what I call them, running around thinking that they could put liens on judges, um, police officers, put liens on them when they
Because they
get
don't know
arrested?
it
What
better.
is
And
going
what's
on?
happened, they filed the action. They want somebody to either answer or default. But if somebody contested it, it wouldn't go anywhere. That's just plain ignorance. That's like the sovereign citizen thing. I told you what I did to show somebody about the fallacy of sovereign citizens. You think you're a sovereign citizen. I don't choose to submit to the jurisdiction of the court. Officer Williams, see if your key fits in lockup. And Officer Williams, Officer Duckett, escort the person back there, drag him if you need to. What are you doing? I'm showing you what the power of sovereignty is. Lock him up. We're holding him to show cause why he should not be held in contempt. A few hours later, I bring him back and say, now, what could you do about it? With any record, because you didn't have the authority or the power, the physical power, the collective power of a sovereign entity. You don't have that ability to wage war. You can, but you wouldn't last very long on your own. Now, get that in your head. There's no sovereign citizenry. You are sovereign as a collective, but not as an individual. So, okay, get over it. That's what power is about. It grows out of the barrel of a gun. Let's see. I believe all 5 of you deputies in here, you have Beretta 96s and 40 Smith and Wessons. Is that right? They're Centurions. You've got 12 round magazines and you've got 2 extra magazines. So with 1 in the chamber, that's 13 plus another 24. So you're well armed. All right. So do you have that? Can you get in this courthouse with that? No, then you're not sovereign. So hush and move on. Next case.
Okay.
See, that's how you handle it.
They pull you over in a car. Okay. I'm a sovereign citizen. I self-law. They pull you over in a car. They have no license plate, or they have their own license plate, okay, that they bought themselves. They don't have to listen to the police officer because they're not driving, they're traveling. So they have no jurisdiction to give them a ticket.
Well, they give
They
them a
say
ticket, and if
that
they don't sign off, they get physically arrested. And the police, under our system, have the authority to exercise force to take someone into custody. And if the person resists, they can keep escalating the force until they can exercise the custodial arrest.
because they're talking about, they talk about this. Oh, they remove yourself from United States citizenship, denounce your citizenship, and then what you do is you get a passport, okay, and an EIN number, and you work in the private, and the United States have no jurisdiction over you.
That
They
doesn't
don't know
work that way.
laws. They can't put laws on you. They can't arrest you, and all of this other stuff. This is what these clowns are teaching inner city hood Negroes that are very lowly educated, that they can get away with this process and evade taxes and evade the law because no courts have jurisdiction over them.
I'm smiling because we just got a version of that with the discourse with the 2 gentlemen who were discussing their version of reality with me. It's the same kind of thing. That's not how it works. You're entitled in this system to have that opinion, but whether or not you can carry out and have effects on it is another thing. You can think the moon is a projection, but there is a reality that transcends your particular belief. You can believe that the world is flat and you'll fall off of the damn thing if you get far enough. But that's not what reality says, because reality depends upon opinions that are subject to modification upon the acquisition of further data, analysis, or experience. So we have that. So what you just gave me was interesting, because I knew we were going to go to sovereign citizens, and the sovereign citizens are expressing a sentiment much like our two young gentlemen were when they were talking about you can't build this. And these things that are a couple of thousand years old are only 400 or 500 because they believe. And the belief is in error. So there you go, same thing.
There it is, y'all.
That's what I believe it too, and I really think that our congressman should pass a law, because what's happening is a lot of young men and women growing up in the inner cities won't get driver's license because they're being taught that they don't need them because they're not driving, they're traveling, and all this other Moorish rhetoric, hokey pokey talk, where they twist treaties and laws in court. And then when the judge rules against them and not in their favor, they then turn around and file liens against judges, magistrates, um, including police officers. And they're putting liens on their homes because they're saying they're aboriginals to America and the United States do not have jurisdiction over them because they're sovereign individuals. Well, my
Well,
question is, if you're so goddamn sovereign, why did you go into court to
well, the
file?
point is, it's not an option to go into court. You're being brought in through the exercise of real sovereign authority for the purpose of keeping and exercising public peace, dignity, and order, so the citizens can have a peaceful place to exist with order. So when you violate that, you're subject to, excuse the language, getting your ass kicked. So when you get jacked up, thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and forcibly taken into custody, you brought it on yourself, because if you were sovereign, then you had the power to resist, and you're showing that you didn't. So that defeats your whole argument. It just doesn't work that way. Sorry what you believe, but it just doesn't match the reality. Mao used to say power and authority came from the barrel of a gun. Now, if you want to shoot it out with the people of the state of California, the people of the state of Illinois, people of the state of Tennessee, where there are quite a few million people backing up that authority, then more power to you. Start your own revolution if you can carry it. But if you can't carry the revolution off, shut the hell up and learn what you're doing, because ignorance is a bitch.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
And it's like ignorance is ignorance. And you see, the other thing I noticed, most of the time when you dealt with people who were talking about that sovereign citizen stuff, or what we just got through discussing with the two young gentlemen, it's they want to claim a status they have not put the work in to earn. You see, doctoral degrees give you a lot of status, but all doctors are not approved by other doctors or people with equal expertise, because it's an opinion. But the doctor had to deal with the doctoral, he had to come up with a dissertation, he had to publish, and he had to be assessed by a peer group. You get a master's degree, you have to have a master's thesis, which has to be published, and it has to be assessed by people with a given expertise in the subject. It takes a while. Then you have to appropriately, at some 4-year university or college, get an undergrad degree after going through a lot, if you can make it. So people come in that lack all of this, which is a lot of intense research in order to acquire what is needed. And they want to claim expertise when they simply haven't put the work in. It's like, okay, I can play basketball. Well, are you 6'5" or 6 or 7 so you can play in the NBA? No. Well, how tall are you? 5'9". Okay, good. You might play on a high school team, but you're not going to make the NBA. All right. Even if you did, you don't want to put it into practice, so you're not as rehearsed and as proficient. You didn't do the calisthenics that are necessary. You just don't put yourself in the position, even though you think you are a basketball player, because you can do some pickup games down at the local playground. That doesn't make you LeBron or Kobe or Magic or Jordan or whatever it may be, or Shaq. It's like a lot of times people want somebody to play basketball, but they're not in that league. It's like I'm listening to young men, they're talking about what they know, but they're not in the league with the people who formulate the theories and go research the evidence and put it together and
They
analyze
just
it. They
don't
just
meet the
lack the
criteria,
experience.
Judge. They're
Well, they
false
lack the experience. I
faith.
appreciate the effort, but got a lot more
They
dues to
come in
pay.
and they twist the law to their liking.
I
They
know.
try to interpret the law to their liking, to what they believe it to be. And I just get so annoyed by them. And it's like you're going around schooling people, and none of them have any proof that they did it. They have no proof of nothing. Another thing they do the squatting. They go and say like you have a home in the South, okay, and you go to the South during the winter months, and then you go back to where you were in the summer months, and then you come back and you got three people sitting in your living room watching TV. What do you do? Well,
Well, you can
never
do it the
mind.
legal way.
No, never mind. I don't even know
You
why
can do it the legal way, and it's called an unlawful detainer act.
We just gotta be careful. I mean, they're squatting
You
in
can do it
people's
that
homes.
way, or there are other ways of doing it. And usually, what winds up happening is if somebody's not nice about it, they get the other way done, and somebody doesn't like what happens. But you want to encourage public peace, dignity, and order. So, yeah, you can get them thrown out.
The last funny
I
thing they're
told
doing.
you what winds up happening if somebody was
Yeah,
being
I know.
crude about it. If you're in
I
a
know.
state that has castle doctrine, there are things.
We know what you're gonna do. The last thing they're doing is they're going on the Bureau of Land Management site and getting land patents. Okay, they believe that they forget the land patents, and I could go on there and find someone with my last name and say, "Oh, this is my ancestor." So they go and record it in the town, pay the taxes, then they publish in the newspaper that they're taking the land back because it was their ancestors. And they publish it in the newspaper for like 30 days. If nobody responds, it's yours. So now what they do, say like you had like 80 acres of land,
The
right? You got a land
remedy,
patent.
it's called
And
to stop that. They came up with stuff that is called a statute of frauds. In other words,
yeah,
typically there's some value, $500, 750,000, 1,500. If something is worth that much, then there has to be a written contract. You just can't come in and start claiming that you can go in and do that. People used to do that kind of thing, but there are remedies, but they're not well known, and the courts have gotten clumsy these
oh
days. So
yeah,
they can be
oh yeah,
thrown out, and that's what's happening with the illegals, by the way. A lot of them are coming in and they're trying to pull that off because they're enterprising. They study these things and they think they can
yeah,
get away with it, but
yep.
it doesn't happen.
And illegal is not just a Mexican, y'all. It's people from other countries like Ireland, anywhere. And they come here and find somebody with their last name and they do this. But anyway, Judge. We've been going on for a minute, and I know you have other things that you have to
Yeah, I
do. We've
do.
been
I,
going on
I,
for
I have
2
a
hours.
couple of more things I've got to
So,
do, but it was fascinating talking to the young men. Nice try. I appreciate what they were trying to do.
It was a nice talking to you because
Brother,
there's a
you
huge
got a
study out
lot
right now
of
showing
knowledge you have
everybody
to
that's.
get, and
Wait a
I
minute.
appreciate your effort to
I
acquire it. So
appreciate
keep
your effort
working,
too because there's a huge
keep
study
working,
showing that
keep
people that's
working.
45 and 50 have calcified pineal glands.
I
So
got
we
you.
know you have not updated your perspective on reality.
Look. You're
And you
all
didn't
right.
even
talking.
say,
Look.
and you didn't
Wait,
even say how did
You're talking
the
to
Moors come over?
somebody.
wait,
You're
Meta.
talking to
Let's let him
somebody
judge. He's the elder.
who
Let
had
him go.
majors in these things, or
You ain't had
might.
no major. You need to stop it. You ain't had no majors
Oh
in that,
yeah, I
Judge.
did.
Stop it. You need
Yeah,
to
I
stop
did.
it. You
I'm
got
a
the
smart
brown leather
guy.
jacket on like you coming for war.
I'm a
You did
smart
not
guy.
go to. You ain't
I'm
go
a
to physics.
smart guy. And first off, you're not going to be able to hang with me in the
There
intellectual
it is, y'all.
department.
Will
Second thing,
Chamberlain,
you
y'all.
haven't
There it
done your
is.
homework.
There it
Third
is,
thing,
y'all.
you haven't done the
This man say.
analysis.
This man say he
I'm
saw the
sorry
moon
to
landing
tell
through a
you,
telescope.
but what you're saying
The
ain't
man say
right.
he saw him land on the moon with a
What
telescope.
you know, I did.
There it is,
So
y'all.
I didn't say I saw the landing on the moon. I
Yeah,
saw the
you did.
takeoff.
Yeah, you did. You vouched for NASA. Yeah, you
I,
did.
I did vouch for them.
They say
I
that people
said
that's
I
50.
saw a Saturn V launch. One. I
There it
said
is, y'all.
later
It don't
on,
stop.
watch the
It don't
space
stop.
capsule in transit to the moon through a
There it
very
is.
powerful telescope.
There
And
it is.
three, I said I watched the
Yeah.
launch
Oh, did
from
y'all know that?
the
Yeah.
lander of the return
Yeah.
capsule to
By the
the
way,
mainland and come back.
everybody listening,
So I did. And by the way,
did
if
y'all know
you
that?
have a 10 by 50 pair of binoculars, you can see the
Man, you
International
need to
Space
stop it.
Station, and you can
Everybody, I
watch
want y'all to hear what I'm about to
and you
tell
can
y'all
see it
real
very
quick.
clearly.
Sir, everybody listening real quick. Did you know that astronomy is a fictitious made up subject? They have not got caught with the software has been rigged. I went on Sister Bethy channel. There's plenty of receipts. When y'all look at them telescopes, they have now been caught rigging the software. This is why when y'all look in the skies at night, you don't see any other stuff that
Oh,
astronomy is saying
son,
is up there.
please,
This who
son,
Judge
please.
Joe
You're
Brown is
doing that
speaking up for.
sovereign citizen thing when you talk about science. That's so far out of date, wrong.
What are you
So
talking about?
don't say that. You don't sound
I said
very.
astronomy. I
When
said
you say
astronomy.
that, you don't sound very impressive.
You
Don't
don't
say
sound
that.
like you got an
Don't tell
uncalcified pineal
anybody
gland,
that.
though. You have
Don't
to have a
tell anybody that outside of the corner basketball game at the park or sitting at a
Judge.
Judge
bar.
Joe
Don't
Brown.
tell
You got to
anybody.
understand that you got
Son,
a
don't say
calcified
that to
pineal gland, so
anybody.
you can't really
Son,
extend your
don't
data.
tell anybody that.
You can't
I would
extend your
not
data,
tell
Judge Joe
anybody
Brown.
that.
You just said pixels and axles built the side of Calloway Temple.
Yeah,
Then
they
you say
do.
you look.
They
Then you say
do.
you know how to do it.
They
Wait. Then you
do.
say you know how to do it. But I
I
asked you how
know
to
how
do
to
it.
do it.
But I
And
asked
I
you how
have
to do it.
seen people who are very accomplished
There it is,
do
y'all.
that.
There it
Now,
is.
go learn.
There it is. So I
Look,
asked you,
look, look, look.
how to do it, and you say you're not gonna
You
tell
know
me
what
it's the method.
ignorance is.
But I
It's a
asked you how
lack
to
of
do it.
knowledge.
I asked you
Go
how to do
acquire
it.
the knowledge and banish
I
the
asked you
ignorance.
how to do it. You
You
said you're not gonna
sound
show me.
foolish, son.
I
Don't
asked you how to do
embarrass
it.
yourself.
I asked you how to do it. You
Do
say you're not
not
gonna show me.
embarrass yourself.
So
You're talking about the
I asked you how
world
to do it,
exists
and you
on the
said you're
back
not
of a
gonna tell me how
giant
to do it.
tortoise.
I asked you how to do it, but you said you're not gonna tell me how to do it. Remember?
I'm not going to tell you how to be a
There it is,
Mason.
y'all. If he's
Get
not gonna tell us
invited to
this, what else you
become
think he
one
ain't
if you
telling?
put your
If he not
studies
gonna tell you
into
something
it,
like
you
this,
can
what else
learn.
you think he ain't telling? Sister
What?
Bethy, that's why when I give you your show, I don't go
Oh, son, that
5,000
is
years back. I
preposterous.
try to get y'all to look at
That
stuff
is
that happened 300, 400
preposterous.
years ago.
That is
I don't gotta go
preposterous.
5,000 years
They
back.
Oh
Sister
broke
my
your
Bethy.
whole
God, you
life.
and Judge Joe Brown.
And
They
Hold
say
on
you
now.
broke your whole life,
calcified
son.
pineal
You
glands.
will get nowhere. There's
Calcified
work to be
pineal
done.
gland.
Put it in and learn.
Calcified pineal glands at the age of 55 and
Learn.
up.
It's there. It's
Hey,
not new. It's
it's
ancient.
ancient.
Learn
It's
it.
Sister Bethy. He said that he got a test from his DNA to know that he ancestors are people on the other side. But when I get on your show, I talk about the genes. He don't know nothing about the
I
genes.
know what genes are.
So what genes do Caucasians have that dark-skinned people don't from the land? You better not say nothing.
None.
You don't know. There it is, y'all. Sister Bethy, let's
None.
go on. There it is.
You have
Everybody, you hear this?
some that in collection they code for darker skin or lighter
No,
skin,
no, 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 no,
dark
no, no, no,
eyes,
no, no.
lighter eyes,
No, no,
straight
no,
hair,
no.
nappy hair.
What genes? What genes
Yeah,
specifically?
look it up. You're not even talking to me on the basis of a
SLAC
second
25
grader
4.
talking to a
Wait,
fifth grader.
SLC,
Now, come
SLC,
on.
SLC
Talk
40,
to me. Talk to
SLC,
me with relevance. You're doing the
SLC 40,
equivalent of a
SLC,
sovereign citizen thing.
SLC 45-2 is the gene that give Hugh Melton the Caucasian that you don't have.
Okay, so what? You
So
can
talk
have
about
it
other
changed.
genes like that. You
You
don't
can
know the
have it
genes.
changed.
You don't
Look
know
at
the
people.
genes.
You get a lot. Look, you got a
Judge
lot
Joe
of
Brown,
people
what
that
other
are
genes,
mixed.
man?
You got a lot of people that are mixed. Nookie was Nookie. When you
There
get
it
ready
is,
to
y'all.
say Nookie,
There it
it looked
is.
like
We talking about
knew
genes. He talking
whatever
about
was
people.
on the scene.
Sister
Humans
Bethy,
have
Sister Bethy, we
mixed
talking about
gene
genes. He don't
codes.
know no genes. He don't know the name of the genes
Humans
of the
have mixed
chromosomes.
gene codes because Nookie is Nookie. And when you're
He said Nookie
deprived,
and
you get what is local to the circumstance.
Because he don't know the name of the
And
genes and the
9 months
chromosomes, this
later,
how he
how
talking.
come something pops out?
Because he don't
It's
know the name of
mixed.
the genes and the chromosomes, this is what he's talking about.
Oh,
You see what I'm
son,
saying?
you're talking simplistic nonsense.
There it is,
Go
y'all.
learn.
There it is. That jacket
Go
got him think
learn
he
it.
at war right now, but he
Go
don't got the right
learn
material.
it. You're talking about from 500 years ago, but you're trying to extrapolate on a few thousand ago.
There
Now,
it is, y'all. I asked you what
there
genes
it
and
is what?
chromosomes.
There
What
it is
genes?
what?
There it is. You
There
can't
it
answer
is what?
none of the
Show
questions.
me
It's been
some
very specific.
anthropological research to
What
sustain
genes?
what you're
What's the
talking
name
about.
of the genes?
Get me some genetic analysis. You
I
don't
just
know
did.
enough about the subject.
There it is. He
You're
old. Yeah,
amusing.
he old. He old. He old. He old.
You're
He old.
amusing. It's
He
not
tied up and
old.
old. He tied up
It's
and
not
old.
old.
Yeah, you
The
tied up and
last
old. He just did the
update
rock
I
back
had
and
on it
move with
was
it.
about 2 days ago.
Yeah, man, he old. He tired. You ain't got no
Oh, I'm
information to
not old
update
and
yourself,
tired.
man.
You're just
You
foolish and
outdated.
you haven't put the work in. Now,
Judge Joe
son,
Brown,
go
you
put the
outdated,
work
man.
in.
You too
Go
outdated,
put
Judge
the
Joe
work
Brown.
in. You're an
Politics,
amateur who
politics,
is
you can
not
stick
even
with.
very accomplished with the
Politics, you can
subject
stick
matter.
with.
What?
Politics is a fake subject. So
He
politics
said-
you can stick with. But
Oh,
genetics,
you
material
sound,
science,
look.
don't even talk
Okay,
about
you
it.
want
Don't
me
do
to
He
it.
get
said it's a
basic
Nookie
about
gene.
it?
A Nookie
You
gene.
sound
Yeah, it's called the Nookie gene. The Captain
sound
Crunch
ignorant.
gene. The Judge Joe Brown gene. Man, I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I told you. I
Got
told
a
you.
high
They paid
IQ,
him to
very
either
high IQ. I'm
they
quick
paid him to
on
have
the
a low
uptake.
IQ or
I
they
do
paid
a
him to
lot
play
of
stupid.
research. I
Sister
have
Betty,
knowledge
they
that
paid
you
him to be
might get
stupid
if you
or
put
they
in the
paid him to
work,
play him
but you
ugly.
haven't. So, son, you sound ignorant.
Spell ignorant. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Judge Joe Brown. Sister Betty,
Now,
and he did
stop
it.
being ignorant. Which
That's
is
not how
a
you spell ignorant. Hey,
congenital
Sister
condition
Betty,
that cannot
that's
be
why I get
cured by the
specific when I
acquisition
talk to
of
you. I don't
knowledge
say the
and
nookie
education.
gene. I
You're
don't say the nookie
entertaining.
gene. I say
I'm
specific
finding you
genes.
amusing.
And
He
look,
said-
hey, Sister Betty, you know what he
he
did?
said-
He tried to
he said the
colonize
Nookie
y'all.
gene.
Sister Betty, he
I
tried to
don't have to
colonize y'all
colonize
because
you.
he
You do
said
it
that his
yourself.
gene, when he got a
You
DNA
get
test,
nowhere
he
because
said that
you
his
are
DNA test
negating
is from
science,
Siberia.
technology,
Wait a
and
minute. Do he
engineering.
mean the Russians, the Caucasian Siberia? So he's doing
Yeah,
colonization in the
black
flesh, and y'all
folk
don't
that
understand what he's
are
doing.
Lucy.
There it is, y'all.
A guy named
There it
Lucy.
is.
Watch
Let this man go to his next show.
He is the head orbital mechanics guy for NASA. He's black.
Why you keep
Very
speaking
brilliant
for
man.
NASA?
NASA?
Yo, why do you keep speaking up like they tell the truth about everything, sir?
Well, they don't necessarily tell the truth. They tell what is most known and what backs up for experimental data. So yeah,
so Judge O'Brown, so why haven't NASA went underneath the earth?
It may be an error.
So Judge O'Brown, so you believe in NASA? Why haven't they showed anything going up underneath the earth? You know, like a satellite going.
What do you mean underneath the earth?
Like a satellite. Why haven't they shown a satellite orbiting underneath?
About underneath the earth? You mean on the other side of the planet during the course of its orbit?
No. I'm saying you saying that we're on a ball that's spinning. Why haven't NASA? I'm asking you, why haven't NASA sent a satellite to monitor something underneath the earth, like the ball that we're on?
What do you mean underneath it?
Yeah, so underneath, like the underneath.
You mean on the other side of it?
What? No, the other side would be what's called horizontal. I'm talking about.
Oh no. What do you think a spy satellite is? They tune in on the Russians on the other side of the.
No, I'm not talking about the other side.
Around the planet.
I'm not talking about the other side. I'm talking about underneath the bottom.
You're talking about subsurface?
I'm talking about, yeah, I'm talking about very underneath the bottom of the earth you say is round. Where's the satellite show what that look
What
like?
the hell are you talking about? You're not even making any sense.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You was never making sense. That's
I
what I was
make
saying.
sense. Now you get into hard science. What do you mean on the other side?
No. I'm not saying the other side. I'm saying that you said that we're on a ball or a globe, a round
We're on
ball.
a globe. Yeah.
Okay,
A
so I'm saying,
sphere.
yeah, so I'm saying, where's a satellite to show that we're up under? Like it
What do
shows.
you mean up under? Define up under.
So when you said that the satellites is in Russia, that's on the other side. That's horizontal. I'm not talking about horizontal.
What do you
I'm
mean
talking about,
horizontal? It's on the other side of the globe, but part way around it.
yeah, that's horizontal going straight across. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going underneath, straight vertical, going down at the bottom
What
of the
the hell
earth.
are you talking about? You aren't making sense.
So what I'm saying is, you said that we're on a ball. So is North America at the top of the ball?
There is no top. It's in a vacuum, hard vacuum in space.
No,
So there is no top, except the way you define it and the way you
I'm
set
talking,
up your
I'm talking about the
orientation.
ball. I'm talking about the ball you call globe that we're on. Where's North America? At the top of the ball, or the middle, or the bottom of the ball?
It's on it. It depends on how you want to define it. It's an
I'm
artificial
gonna
thing
let you
about
define
north,
it.
south, east, west. That's just our convenience.
No, I'm saying that. Okay, so you know the equator is North America above the equator because the equator is supposed to be in the middle of the ball, right?
It's an arbitrary artifact of us deciding that there's a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. If you were in outer space and you look back, it wouldn't necessarily appear that way. What's up would be down, and what's down is up, or vice versa.
Judge,
It is. He
How
died.
you're looking at it.
hold up, gentlemen. Judge Dana is in the chat. She says you have another interview. That's why I said I want to hold you up. I love you so much. And I told you when you come back this time, that would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I
I
know.
really,
I enjoyed
enjoy
the
myself.
diversion with the
All right.
young
Yeah.
people,
All right,
but they
Judge Joe
need to
Brown.
go
Update.
acquire.
You gotta update yourself. You too out of date, old
Son, you
school.
need to get
You
some
way
knowledge.
out of date,
You're
old
not
If
school.
right.
I don't
You're
let
not
if I don't
accurate.
let Judge Joe Brown
You're
go,
not accurate, and you sound foolish.
But you below average.
Excuse me.
You below average, though,
Excuse
Judge.
me. I'm not below average.
You well below
Hang
average,
on.
Judge Joe
Excuse
Brown.
me. I
Hang
went
on.
to UCLA and I graduated at the top of my class, graduated at the top of my high school class, graduated at the top of my law school class. I was on the bench for 16 years in Tennessee, and out of 280 judges, I had the lowest reversal rate. I do pretty damn well. I have an extremely high goddamn IQ and an didactic memory. In other words, if I read it 15 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, I know it. Now,
Right.
you want to talk about I'm not all this and that. Okay, that's your opinion, but the bottom line is you're just telling me some Santa Claus fiction, which is
Hey,
full.
Dana. I'm getting him out. I'm letting him go, Dana. Hey, Dana.
Now, bottom line is, son, young people,
Man,
go
stop it.
educate yourself.
Man, you need to stop it, man.
You
Bella,
sound
we gotta.
foolish. Now, go find somebody outside of this sovereign citizen type stuff who would accept what you say as reality. Prove it to somebody. Maybe you might get more followers. But the bottom line is, you're not even talking in line with modern science, technology, engineering, or math. So you're way out of line. You're talking something primitive. It doesn't match up. It's hocus pocus. It's mythology. And essentially, what the design purpose of it is to make you feel better about yourself. So you have enough to be proud of that is reality. You don't have to create it. That's what the Nazis did when they came up with all of that Aryan mythology. Speaking of which, Kamala Harris matches the description of a real Aryan. Anthropologically, it's called an Indo-Aryan, and she matches it. So when the Nazis told a lie long enough and loud enough, people think Aryans are blonde-haired, blue-eyed from the far north. They're swarthy, they have dark hair, dark eyes, and they come from the Indus River Valley, and they actually did have something to do with Germany, but not the way the Nazis claim. So when you get Aryan Brotherhood, Aryan Nation, and the Nazis, they have a myth that they devoutly believe in. That's what you've created is a myth. Now, find out reality, and everything will be a lot better for you. Now, ciao. I gotta
So,
go.
Judge, I know you gotta go. So I hope you come back after all this is over so we can
Yeah,
talk
well,
about the
it's
monster.
fascinating. It gives
So
me amusement to listen to this, and I
I
said,
know.
glad I studied, and I'm glad I went to a university, and I'm glad I put the time in, and see how important and valuable real knowledge is when you deal with ignorance. Now, your ignorance can be banished, young people. Just do some research so you get corrected. Now, trust me when I say there are people that can do what you showed me with primitive tools. I've observed the process. It's nothing magical. People have been able to do it for a long, long time. You can too. So quit thinking it's beyond you. It's within your means. You just have to learn how to do it. Now, with that, I'm out of here. Ciao.
Bye, Joe. Good Judge Joe Brown. Love you. Can't wait for you to come back.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was so much fun. I had so much fun. I love Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. I don't care. But he told me he would come back. The last time Judge Joe Brown came, he had a fight with Dane. It was horrible. Oh God, they were fighting so bad. But he enjoyed you. He really did. If he didn't, he would have been gone. I had a great time. This was a really great bill, everybody. I don't want to stay on too much longer. We've been on now for 2 hours. Sorry about the beginning. I've I've had to learn tomorrow. I will be back with StreamYard. Meta and I will be back tomorrow to dissect this. So because y'all know Meta is like this. He want to show all this proof and stuff. So tomorrow we'll dissect it and Meta will uh correct the errors that he felt that Judge Joe Brown made and correct everything that he's taught you. But it's really been great, you guys. I love you guys. I hope y'all set y'all's clock back. This was great. We got 3,665 people up in here. And oh man, this is like awesome. I really appreciate everyone. So I guess everybody's probably gonna go to Smoke Channel, but Meta stay on for a minute. But I'm gonna end the segment and the live. I hope I do this right. Love y'all. I'm out. See y'all tomorrow.